Hello, everybody. Welcome. This is the Stagler Talk Show Podcast. I'm Nick.
I'm Justin, and it is episode 9 here today.
Nueve.
Which, nine's cool and all, but it just gets you excited for the next episode, I think, when you're at 9, because that means the next episode's 10.
Double digits.
So you might as well skip this one and just wait for the good stuff, which is going to be episode 10.
Well, I think this episode's going to have some good stuff.
Okay.
Hopefully.
We'll see. What are we going to be talking about this episode?
We got animated films, our favorite animated films. That's what we'll be talking about later.
Yeah, and our favorite, not the best, not the brightest.
Not objective.
Just our personal top 5 from each of us favorite animated films, which is exciting enough. But first, we have some other stuff that we need to get through. Like, first, what have you been up to these past 2 weeks?
Not too much. I've seen a few things. When I saw a movie that I've wanted to see for a long time now, The French Connection. You seen The French Connection?
No, but I've heard plenty about it. Wait, which one?
The only one that I know of.
There's 2, I think. There's a new one and an old one.
Oh, it's the old one then.
Okay.
I guess. The original, I think.
Sure, yeah.
I'm
pretty sure there's 2. I don't know.
I didn't know if there was 2. It's got the guy from Jaws in it. I can't remember his name. And It's got Gene Hackman.
Sure, yeah.
That one. I thought it was okay. I know
Really?
a lot of people really like it a lot.
Yeah, a lot.
I thought it had some cool scenes and stuff, some cool set pieces, but other than that, I was kind of just really disinterested in the characters. I couldn't really grab onto any of them.
Oh.
So I don't want to say I was bored throughout, but I was just kind of yeah, okay. There's drugs. So I thought it was all right. Maybe I'll see it again and maybe I'll have a different outlook, but I don't really know.
So is this a recommend or a not recommend?
See, me personally would not recommend it, but I would recommend it because it's a very famous movie and so many people love it so much.
Yeah.
And I don't think anyone should take my word for how I feel about it.
Yeah.
So I would recommend it because it does have some cool things about it, but other than that, I was just kind of like meh.
Heard the score is interesting.
It's very strange, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't like that part of it either.
What made it strange?
It's just it sounds like they don't know how to play instruments.
Oh, interesting.
That's what it sounds like.
See, that's the kind of music that I like the discordant tones, because I'm not much of a music person, but the music I do like is stuff that's really discordant. It sounds like they have 2 strings on their guitars and stuff like that,
Yeah.
That's the kind of stuff that I'm into.
Well, then you might dig it, but I was
And
very
poppy.
bothered by it.
I like people who can't play instruments and poppy.
Interesting. But yeah, it was just whatever. And then we together collectively,
Yes.
we watched Dune, the David Lynch Dune.
Us and a third.
Yeah, and I
The David
finished
Lynch Dune,
the book
finally.
also.
And that's why we watched it,
That's
because
why
you
we
finished.
watched it, so we could see the movie. The book, great.
Good.
I really liked it. A great science fiction novel. The movie,
I liked it.
it was okay.
It was fine.
Uh,
I'm sure if I read the book, I wouldn't like it as much.
I think the movie has really cool creature design and just makeup
The
and set design in general.
Navigator or whatever it was.
Yeah, the Guild Navigator.
The Guild Navigator. That thing was wicked.
Cool.
It was like a weird little
yeah.
fetus, except it was huge.
The worms were really cool. I was hoping the worms would be cool. They are.
It was what it was like? The Guild Navigator. It was what was his name? I don't even remember if it even had a name. But the baby from Spirited Away, that's what it looked like while it was still in the womb.
Oh,
is the Guild Navigator.
Okay.
While it was developing.
Sure.
That's my new theory.
All right. It had Toto on the score. That was weird to me, but I thought it was really good.
It explains the ending.
Right. Plus the rains on Arrakis, man. It's just technically I think the movie's very good, but as far as the story goes, I can't say it's really his fault because he probably had to fit the whole thing into
one movie. 2-parters weren't as
2-hour runtime that they had, and it just it doesn't work for a 800-page epic sci-fi space novel.
But then when you think of it, does 2 movies?
Not Not really. I'd say
unless they're like 3 hours long.
I personally would say 3 movies if they're like 2 hours. But I mean,
a trilogy sounds perfect.
If yeah, that's what I'm saying. But the new one they're doing 2. I mean, maybe if they're like 2 hours and 50 minutes a pop,
Right? Exactly. Yeah.
could be pretty good. But yeah, I liked it overall. I mean, in the grand scheme, I did like it, but it's very troubling if you read the book and you're like, where is this entire plot line?
Right. You said at one point in the movie they skipped like 400 pages and just like skipped it.
Not that many, but quite a bit.
Okay, yeah. I thought my personal favorite part of it was probably just the sandworms.
Yeah, they're
the
sweet.
effects for when that came out. What was it, like 1984 or something like that? Yeah. Those sandworms were terrifying.
Dude, they're sick.
And they were really well done. Like they actually looked. I mean, maybe not as much when the people were like standing on them and everything,
right,
obviously.
Yeah.
But when it was just the sandworms in the shot, like I was like, that is a giant sandworm. It was very convincing. Extremely well done in that regard. Another thing that I quite liked about it was the editing of the film. It had a lot of interesting editing. It had like those film burn out transitions and everything, cool. And like weird, like not even wipes, but sort of like vertical, like white light to fade transitions. Interesting stuff going on there. And of course, David Lynch always takes proper care with his like sound design and stuff like that. Sound editing.
Yeah, that was cool.
He is quite a stickler for stuff like that, which is great to see. Kyle MacLachlan, you know, the main character, the Timothy Chalamet, you know.
He was okay. I didn't think any of the performances really stood out to me.
Well, the thing is just because the last thing that I saw him in, which was the season 3 of Twin Peaks, he like blew me away. Oh yeah. It was like, I thought it was like seriously some of the best stuff that I've seen in certain scenes, you know. So, you know, but I mean, he was way younger here, you know. It was a long time ago. But, you know, it was serviceable, certainly. You know, everybody, like, I don't think there was anybody who I was like, ooh, that's bad.
Yeah, no, I was never
which was
really like that.
Luckily. But I got to say, it was a lot of fun just watching the movie and being like, oh, that's Oscar Isaac. You know?
Yeah, right.
It's like, oh, cool. I see it. That's where a lot of the fun came to the movie for me. Now, do you want to talk about the ending?
The rain?
Yeah. And like just give us you read the book, so like give us a full.
So at the end of the movie, they do the thing and he duels with Fade Ratha and he kills him, and then he's like, okay, let's do it. And then everyone's like, Muad'Dib.
Yeah, Zohai.
The Krizaz Hadarach.
Yeah.
And then it just starts raining on Arrakis, and they're like, he is the Muad'Dib.
Yeah. I thought it was actually a pretty cool moment in the movie without context. I was like, that's pretty interesting because it gave it almost like a Moses feeling, you know?
Yeah.
To Muad'Dib.
Yeah, well, that's not what happens at all. Well, it kind of is. Like, he does duel Fade Ratha and he kills him. Yeah. But it does not just start miraculously raining on Arrakis desert planet.
Right.
And it's just was a very strange choice. But I think you said...
Yeah, what I read immediately after the movie, because I was curious as to why that sort of decision was made. And, you know, I just read this. I was not totally there. I was just kind of scrolling, did a quick skim. But what I read, it was a conscious decision by David Lynch, specifically so he wouldn't have to make a sequel. He could do it and be like, well, there can't be a sequel because it rains now. Yeah. So, like, a lot of their problems are gone.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's cool. Good on him for doing that, which is fine.
I don't know when, last episode, when, like, the more images of Dune probably came out at some point recently, but, like, we did at the one episode, the first images. But I went back and looked at them, and I saw a lot of the ones where they did the blue editing on the eyes for the new movie. And it's a really nice effect. I think it's really cool. I'm glad that they stuck to I'm glad they're just not blue-eyed. Like, blue eyes, they actually have blue. Yeah, the whites of their eyes are blue.
They need to be like all blue.
I like that a lot because I was kind of afraid of that when I saw it in this movie. I liked how it looked in David Lynch's. I was like, that's really interesting because they look totally transformed, you know? Yeah. So I was afraid that they just make everybody have like, you know, blue colored eyes instead of actually blue eyeballs.
Yeah, it needs to be like blue.
But I looked and no, they're doing it. Zendaya, she had blue eyes.
She did.
Indeed.
And yeah, I really want him to show what the shields look like too, because the shields in the old
shields
movie
are so funny.
Look very funny because it's just so old.
It's
so
the time.
Can't do much, but I mean, it's basically what I imagine when I read it. It's just kind of like form fitting.
Do you imagine that they'll just be like a filter over their entire body? Like it won't be blocky. It'll just be like a shimmer across everybody's face. Is that how you're imagining it for the new one?
I think they could do something like that, or
it seems like the way that you'd think they'd go.
Yeah.
If it was like an average flick.
But they could like completely just like not do it and just be like, yes, we do have shields on, but you just like can't see them. And maybe if like someone goes for like a knife on somebody, then it like pops up and it like, and so they don't have to like spend so much.
I don't know.
On the budget.
I kind of like when they like activate the shield and it's like
yeah. So I don't know. They could do it either way.
Maybe,
but yeah,
we just gotta see the sandworms. Honestly,
oh dude, the new worms.
Real talk, the sandworms gonna be hard to beat. Actually, like surprisingly.
Yeah, they're gonna have to be really cool in the new one.
I'm sure they will with all the tech we have now.
Yeah.
But I was impressed.
Yeah,
before,
especially with the heptapod design in Arrival. Denis does that
exactly.
Too, I feel like he could probably figure something out, some crazy creature. Hope. But yeah, Dune, it was all right.
Mm-hmm. It was just like, it's definitely the kind of movie that you would watch. It reminds me of the movies that would be on TV when I was like in elementary school and I'd be like really sick and I'd wake up at like 3 a.m. sweating with the TV still on. Like Dune would be the movie that would be playing, and I'm just like, who are these characters? And I don't, am I dreaming? That's how it hit me as a film.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. But now the moment everybody's been waiting for. I know everybody's been eagerly waiting to hear my opinion on the ending of season 1 of Snowpiercer. And this is what I have to say about the final 2 episodes of Snowpiercer.
Oh, was the final 2?
The final 2 episodes. It's over. Now we're waiting for season 2. They were quite good.
Really?
Yes. Very surprising because the show really does have a really tough start. Like the first half of the first season was like really tough for me. But these last 2 episodes, I said last episode I didn't really know like what they could really do.
Yeah.
Because the revolution was happening. And I didn't know what they would do in the next season. Mm-hmm. But literally, I think this is really cool. I'll explain this. So basically, there's a scene where they're having the revolution. They're trying to like restart the like government, at least some form of government that they can have on the train. But there's like all these first class rich people that are like no, blah blah blah, whatever. Mm-hmm. So they're like, okay, we have a plan. And the main chick, played by Jennifer Connelly, she's like she doesn't get betrayed because she's been posing as like she's kind of like the leader of the train, and everyone thinks that Wilford like actually leads the train and she just speaks for him, but everyone finds out that Wilford's dead and it's been her like the whole time, and everyone's like, yo, I can't believe you. Yeah. You're such a terrible person. Why would you do this? So they are going to execute her. Oh. But she makes it out. Oh, but their way of execution is really cool, I wanted to say. Remember I was telling you about the torture with, like, the ice thing? Mm-hmm. It's basically that, but they just put a mask on you, and they just funnel the outside air into you, and you just...
Hey, well, it's good. Die. Social distancing, wearing a mask, it's all very important right now. So I'm glad Snowpiercer is staying culturally relevant.
Right. But she makes it out, and then Daveed Diggs and her devise a plan to... They're going to detach the first class section of the train from the front, and then declass it from... Because it's, like, right... And it's not like... There's, like, probably, like, 10 cars, and then, like, first class, which is, like, 7.
Okay.
And then, like, the rest of the train. And it's, like, 1,000 cars long or whatever. So they cut it at the first part, close to the beginning of the train, and then they cut it farther back. So they're in the middle, detached, and the first part of the train and the second part of the train are, like, far away. And then they get to, like, a split in the rail, and they split the parts they want this way, and they split all the rich people the other way, and they're just gonna, like, leave them there to just freeze and die.
I didn't know there were splits.
They can do that, apparently.
Yeah, I didn't. I thought it was just a one.
It will be very important shortly.
But here's the thing with that.
Yeah.
Oh, well, no, I guess it doesn't matter because it's just gonna stop eventually. But because it's the track goes like
all the way around the world.
All the way around the world. Okay, because I was like, if it's short enough, I mean, eventually, at some point, aren't they gonna find that train car when they're going around the world?
Yeah, when they get back to, they do it like close to Chicago or whatever.
I mean, right. So when they get back to Chicago,
Hey, they're dead.
But they're never gonna be on that track, cause like
Nope, because they sent them onto a
unless
different
they
one.
just forget.
Right, they could forget and
And
just
then
ram into it.
And then they're
blow
just
up.
like, because they could make a mistake like 1,000 miles back, like at a split,
Sure.
and then just forget and be like, oh, well, we doomed ourselves. Good run.
So yeah, and then they reattach the train,
Yeah.
and boom, all the crazy rich people dead.
Okay.
So cool. But then the finale, I was like, I really want to know what they're gonna do. So they're chilling. It's just pretty standard finale.
And then she has sex with a little boy.
No, what?
Well, like the original Snowpiercer.
Okay, right. They get like a radio signal from like outside of the
Okay.
train, and they're like, "Oh, this is really weird. Like, it's coming from the northwest. It can't be from another part of the train."
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, "This is really strange. It can't be survivors." And I was like, "If they're survivors, this will be really stupid. I think,
Yeah.
like that are living like out on the planet." But then it's another train.
I knew it. The icebreaker.
This is crazy. So there's like another train, but they don't know who it is. But the one of the main dudes in the front of the train, that one of the engine dudes, he knows who it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's Wilford, who's
Oh.
actually not dead.
Wilford Brimley.
And nobody knew. Everyone thought that he was dead. So he's like, yeah, this is Wilford, and he's on this track over here, and they're on this track, and Jennifer Connelly's trying to speed up the train so they don't collide into him. So they make it by, but he gets in behind them, and then speeds up and like attaches. The train like opens up and then just like kind of grabs it like a hand.
Yeah.
And then they like drill their way in, and then they open the door, and this girl comes out, and they're like, "You have to surrender to Mr. Wilford or whatever." And everyone's like, "What is happening?" But then it turns out that little girl is Jennifer Connelly's daughter.
Oh. I gotta say, the way you're explaining it doesn't make it sound good.
It is pretty good. Listen though, I know I probably sound like a crazy person, but then it like just basically ends there. So there's a lot now that they can do with the second season.
Yeah.
And apparently they showed a little like teaser for the second season. Sean Bean is gonna play Mr. Wilford.
How is he going to die?
I know, he's got to get his head chopped off by King Joffrey.
He's gonna... How would you kill someone on a train?
Without freezing them with the air.
You can do it. If you want to do it that way, you could do it that way.
I don't know. Can't just throw them off. That's too lame.
You could like attach them to the front and they would freeze and make like a little like, the thing you put on the front of boats and stuff.
There you go. That
You
could
do
work.
that. Or just push him out the back with like a rope and drag him.
They could
Eventually
do
he'll
that too.
freeze and break off.
Yeah, but I liked it. I thought it was pretty good. So I actually will
Continue.
tune in for the second season.
Well, weren't you always? How bad would it have to be to
depend-
tap
It'd
out?
have to be it'd have to be like first half of the season bad.
Yeah.
If it was like that all the way, I wouldn't be tuning in. But yeah.
Whenever we talk about bad TV, I just can't help but like think about The Walking Dead and how I really want to try to get back into it, but I just can't do it no matter how hard I try.
Did you see they're gonna air the finale finally of the 10th episode?
Yeah.
Or the 10th season finale.
Right,
Whatever.
I want to get back into it, but it's just so tough.
Did you see like the little teaser they put for it?
No, because I still like at this point I like want to catch up, but it's just really hard.
It's really bad from what
Oh,
I mean.
yeah.
It's not like really bad, but I don't know. It just seems like the same thing over and over. They're in a like maybe the worst, most terrible situation they could be in. Remember in Alexandria when like there's like all of those walkers like completely surrounding the whole thing. It's like that again, but like times like 30. There's like so many, and I was like, okay.
Well, I read something that I don't know if they delayed it again or whatever because everything's delayed, right?
Right.
But they're still working really hard on the Rick Grimes movie.
Oh,
And
I bet that'll be fantastic.
They said they really want to make it good, but I mean, of course they say
and
that.
they really wanted to make El Camino good.
Wow. Yeah, they did. Was that it for your week?
I have one more thing that I want to
Okay.
talk about, and it's a game.
Sure.
Just came out.
Oh yeah,
Ghost of Tsushima.
Tsushima. I don't know how you say
They
it.
say like.
Isn't it Tsushima?
It's like
Like
Tsushima.
But isn't it nuts? It's like TSU.
Yeah.
Tsushima. Well, because it's
Tsu.
like a Japanese. They pronounce the T. They go Tsushima. Don't they? In anime they're always going Tsu.
Okay.
I don't know if that's true.
I don't know. Ghost of Tsushima.
Sure, yeah.
I'm
being a
just came out.
stickler.
Yeah. Sucker Punch, and
What have
big
they
open
made?
world game. Honestly, I don't even know.
They
So-
made Infamous, I think, and like Sly Cooper back in the day.
Oh, nice. I'm not very far, but this game rocks. Kinda.
Cool.
It's kind of really good.
It's the last PS4 game.
Yeah. It kind of rocks. I saw it's the fastest selling original IP in PS4 history, which is really cool. It's like by far like the most gorgeous game I've ever played in my life, which I guess makes sense because it's the newest, but still.
Well, no, the thing that I think separates it, because you can look at games like Death Stranding, which, if you asked me, I think the general quality of like the textures and the models is higher, but the art direction in Ghost of Tsushima
Right.
is so much prettier. Like, it's designed to be pretty and breathtaking that it overtakes, even though technically it's not as pretty.
Right. Kind of like
It's
The Last of Us.
prettier things, so it looks prettier.
Right. When there's a giant golden forest.
As opposed to like gray skies and rains and rock.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense. But yeah, it's pretty cool. The combat is good. I like it. It kind of reminds me of the Sekiro combat. Not as fast.
Are you playing in Akira Kurosawa mode?
No.
Okay, sure, fair enough.
Playing through the game normally first, and then if I play through again, I don't know. I have like 20-ish hours in the game already.
Really?
And I'm trying to 100% it, so it is going to take me like a lot longer. But I'm literally not even like, I'm probably barely halfway through like the first act, and I think there's going to be 3 acts. So this is going to be the long haul for me.
It'll hold you over till
yeah, but it's really fun. All the little like side quests and stuff I find to be very fun, and all the little cool things you can do. The photo mode is awesome. Yeah, I'm really digging it, and it seems like everybody, critics and all, everyone's really loving on this game.
Liking it.
So yeah, it's super cool.
Yeah, it just seems really solid. Just in general, just solid.
It's a solid game. Yeah.
So then I guess I shouldn't have to ask, but you haven't started Uncharted 4.
No, that'll be in whatever, like 60 more hours of gameplay of.
Sure.
Goes to Tsushima.
Well, then I only have one thing left.
That's okay.
And it's not even I didn't even watch this whole movie. I watched half of this movie. Really, I probably watched like 2/5 of this movie, if I'm being completely honest with myself.
So it wasn't good.
No, that's not it. I don't know if it was good. I didn't watch enough. But I happened to catch 2/5 of Eurovision Song Contest, The Story of Fire Saga. Do you know what that is?
I heard of it, but I don't know what it is.
It's the new Will Ferrell movie.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yeah, they're like Swedish. So here's the thing. I don't know what this movie's about necessarily because I only watched 2/5 of it. I watched like the second fifth and like the fourth fifth.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So like right after the movie had started and like right before the final parts of the movie.
Okay.
So Will Ferrell and the other girl, who again I didn't watch it so I didn't look up actors or anything. They are either brother and sister or boyfriend and girlfriend. I didn't watch enough to figure out.
Okay.
So they're one of the two. That is their relationship. I mean, okay.
Just go for it.
The Eurovision Song Contest is it's like a America's Got Talent kind of thing, except it's like a world singing competition or whatever. I don't know if it's real. I have no idea if it's real. Probably.
Could be.
And I think they're Fire Saga. And the parts that I saw of it, it was a lot of jokes. So like half of them were funny, half of them weren't.
Yeah.
But when you have so many jokes that you throw at the wall, that's kind of how it ends up being. Probably something fine to just turn your brain off for a second and be like, oh, Will Ferrell. I like Will Ferrell.
Yeah.
He's doing like a weird Swedish accent. So it's that the whole time. He's got like, wacky outfits a lot of the time, the stage outfits and everything.
Mm-hmm.
What was weird to me was the two parts of the movie that I caught were the same story beat. Because there's like a preliminary contest and then there's like the real contest, I guess. Mm-hmm. There's like a preliminary, then like a semifinals, then finals, I guess. Or like qualifiers or whatever you would call them for this type of competition. So the first part was them being like, oh, we definitely didn't make it in the qualifiers. And then, well, spoilers if you care.
No.
Everybody dies in a boat explosion except for them. So they make it in.
Good.
And that's how they get in the... And so I watched like around that bit. And then when I came back and watched the rest of it, it was at the part where they're like, oh, we definitely didn't win in the semifinals. And then they won in the semifinals.
Good.
So they got to... I don't know if they won the whole thing. Who knows? But I know that they died. Everybody died in a boat explosion, and then they got into the finals.
Yeah, well, good for them.
I know it's good for them. I hope that their brotherly, sisterly connection is stronger, or that their romantic connection has been strengthened.
Rekindled.
Whichever they are. Because see, the thing is, because they seemed like they were boyfriend girlfriend, but they weren't like romantic with each other. So I don't know. I think it was just I don't know.
Well, I don't know either because I haven't seen it.
They were Swedish, so maybe it was both.
Okay.
They're like purebred Swedish. I don't know. I can't even do a Swedish accent. It didn't even sound Swedish. It sounded like, I don't know, Leif Erikson.
Swedish. Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, it's probably fine. You know, low hanging fruit kind of movie, but whatever.
Interesting.
And that's it for my week. That's all I got to do.
Time for
Oh wait, you know what? I did watch something else, but I didn't watch a lot of it, so I didn't really count it because it was kind of a trip down memory lane for me.
Oh.
I started, because it's on HBO Max. I didn't know it was on HBO Max because I'm still kind of finding stuff on there.
Right, yeah, there's a lot.
Home Movies. Do you know what that is? It's a TV show. It was on Adult Swim from like 1999 to like 2004 or something like that. And it is an animated series about this 8-year-old named Brendan who he likes to make home movies. And it's an Adult Swim show, so it's kind of raunchy. You know, it's got some of that going on. This show terrified me as a child.
Oh.
Did you ever have those with Adult Swim or anything? Or not even Adult Swim, but that's usually what scared me was stuff on there when I was little.
I mean, Courage.
Okay, but that's
Courage.
like an actual cartoon for children.
But it was still scary.
Yeah, it was scary. I was terrified of Adult Swim shows a lot when I was a kid just because all the humor was adult and I like knew it. Like I could tell, and for some reason they just like scared me because I was like, I shouldn't be watching this. And
right.
I don't know. I guess I was more afraid of like someone finding out than I was of the show, maybe.
Okay.
But I didn't like watching them either because I would turn them on, I would turn them off really quick. I'd be like, I don't like it. Like Robot Chicken used to scare me a lot because of the weird dolls and everything.
Right, yeah.
But I like those shows now.
Okay.
They're a little juvenile usually, but you know, you can use a little juvenile sometimes. Anyways, home movies. It's ugly. Oh, it's so ugly. It's the ugliest show I've ever seen in my life, and I love it.
Oh, you love it.
It's like scribbly, weird. Look up home movies real quick and just take like a look. Weird scribbly art style, which I think they changed in for Flash in the later seasons, but it's kind of got a charm to it. I got to admit now that I'm older, it's kind of got
like
a
Phineas and Ferb.
You know what? It is like Phineas and Ferb, isn't it? But I'm only like halfway through season 1, and I still think it's really funny. And I don't know. I think I just have to recommend it. It's like I think it's underrepresented, perhaps. You know, when you think of like adult cartoons, you know, adult animated series.
Yeah.
You think of like Family Guy or Rick and Morty. I think home movies should be up there. I think Futurama. I think you should mention home movies too, because I've been loving it on the rewatch.
Good.
I've been loving it. And that's not something else. The coach there is Coach McGurk. That's H. John Benjamin, who is like Bob from Bob's Burgers.
Yeah.
And Archer, stuff like that.
This would terrify me too.
Yeah, there's like a potato baby with glasses. That's Brendan's sister. But the mom in this show is hot. Look for the mom.
I'm
telling you,
is that her?
That is not her. Go up. But she's an absolute MILF. There she is, right to the right. No.
Purple hair?
Yeah. I love her. She's like my favorite character.
She looks good.
I think she's great.
Okay.
But that's all I have to say. I just wanted to point that out because it is something that I've been watching.
Okay. I'm glad.
You don't think she's hot?
She's good looking.
Okay, well, why don't you go home and decide for yourself, viewers and listeners. Decide for yourself if Brandon's mom is hot.
Okay.
I say yes. So this is the 9th episode, right?
Yeah, it is the 9th episode.
Speaking of things that are 9s,
All great things come in 9s, obviously.
Paul Thomas Anderson's 9th film is coming closer. It's going to be a drama, a comedy, a dramedy, set in the 1970s in the San Fernando Valley, like Punch Drunk Love and I think Boogie Nights. And it's going to be there. Oh, and Magnolia. Here it is. Yeah, I was right. And it's going to be about like a high school foreign exchange student and like their adventures in the world. We know very little about it so far. But, you know,
Interesting.
I'm actually not I guess I'm not a huge Paul Thomas Anderson film fan when I think about it. I've seen like half of his movies, or maybe a little more than half. One of them I absolutely love. A few more of them I like, and then there's like one that I don't really like that much, which is Inherent Vice.
I'm not a big Inherent Vice guy either.
Yeah, okay.
That's okay.
But you know, still overall, I enjoy stuff when he makes, you know, like when a director makes like one of your favorite movies ever. You know, it's kind of
right.
Tough to be like, you know. But it's exciting, honestly. You know,
Good.
just kind of wanting new movies at this point. You know,
please.
just wanting those releases and everything. That's why I thought I'd bring this up. Paul Thomas Anderson, he makes good stuff.
He does.
Continuing with the 9s. You know
More
what
9
else
stuff.
came in a 9?
What did?
Star Wars. He had 3 trilogies. He had 9
there
episodes.
are 9. Yep.
So, John Boyega, do you know who that is?
I know who John Boyega is.
Who is he?
He plays Finn.
He said
Finn 2187.
that what? Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
He says that he doesn't want to do any more Star Wars. He's done
Good.
with Finn. He's like, you know what? I'm out. I don't really feel. And you know what? It's
Good.
sad that he didn't get to do anything in Star Wars ever. You know, like I wish he got to do something before he stopped being in Star Wars, but sadly, it just wasn't in the cards for him or basically anybody who wasn't Rey.
Yeah, tough look for the
new cast.
For the sequel trilogy.
Yeah. I mean, well, and Kylo and Rey. Everybody else
Reylo
got nothing. Right? Like, this isn't a hot take. Everybody was squandered except for Rey and Kylo.
Yeah, probably. Well, I mean, yeah.
What, like, Poe, and was his sudden romantic subplot in episode 9, was that like, wow, what a great use of his character.
No, I mean,
you used to be a spice runner. Oh my gosh, have sex with me, please.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't know, just even... I Rey and Kylo get the most, but I can't even say I really enjoy what happens.
Finn's best stuff was in Force Awakens.
Yeah, the first one.
Yeah, you know, and then after that, he had the weird thing
Is
where...
he even in the second one?
Yeah, remember?
When is he in The Last Jedi, other than when he's like, I'm going to ram my ship into the AT-AT?
Well, that was the only explanation I had. That was the only example
I don't remember where he is in that movie other than that.
I think that's it. Oh, no, he goes to the casino planet with a...
how could I forget
Benicio
about
del
the
Toro.
casino? That sequence is terrible.
It is terrible.
Listen, I'm not anti The Last Jedi. I think it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But, bro, the casino scene is bad.
Yeah,
that's all I got to say.
It's like a act.
The casino 35
It's an
minutes
arc.
of the 2 hour 40 minute movie.
Yeah, it is. It's not a good. But, I mean, we're beating a dead horse. We're beating a dead... Oh, I'm so dumb. We're beating a dead... What is it? What's the animal that he sleeps inside?
Oh, I don't know.
I'm not a big Star Wars person, so I don't remember.
Same.
Yak-2. A big... Tauntaun?
Dude.
Something like that.
Ask me about Star Trek, I might know.
Beating a dead Tauntaun. I think it's Tauntaun. Because that's a stupid name, and most of the creature names were kind of stupid. Bantha. I don't like Bantha. Anyway, you know what? He did say, however, that he would go back eventually, maybe, you know? Like, he just wants to break right now. But he's like,
Good.
you know, in 10 years, if they want Finn back, he might come back. And, you know, maybe that'd be good for his character. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe him and his romantic subplot in the 9th episode.
Yeah, I don't know. You know what? No, they did ruin Rey.
I didn't say I didn't say they didn't ruin her. I said they didn't squander her. There's a difference.
Right.
From non-utilization and then burning into the ground.
Yeah. We'll probably do a whole episode on Star Wars sometime.
Well, we did prequels, and we didn't really talk about the prequels that much, honestly.
I just mean Star Wars in general. Maybe in the future.
Yeah, we'd have to do a whole thing.
It'd be a long conversation. It'd be like our Game of Thrones conversation. I'm not going to get into it.
Let's not get into it, and let's move on to another story. John Boyega, do what you got to do, my bud. Netflix announced on Tuesday, since we were talking about sequels that weren't as well received.
Yeah, but this one's whatever.
That The Legend of Korra, the sequel series to beloved Nickelodeon cartoon Avatar: The Last Airbender, will hit Netflix on August 14th.
That's good for people that don't have it on Blu-ray like me.
Here's the thing.
The tea.
Well, no. Because we're talking about animated movies today.
Mm-hmm.
So we shouldn't get into it. But I am dying to have this conversation about The Last Airbender and The Legend of Korra. I am dying to talk about it with you in depth because we never really got to.
All right, we'll have a whole episode.
And definitely didn't have the show. A whole episode just on that?
Yes.
I was thinking we'd do it in our animated series episode, but we can do a whole episode on it because we both love at least The Last Airbender. Right?
I am very pro Korra. I need everybody to know this. I'm very pro Korra.
I am also very pro Korra. So we are on the same page. Yeah. But that is, again, I don't want to get into it because it is a...
Most people are really annoying. Like, Netflix will tweet anything about Korra, and they'll just be like, Korra sucks. Aang would dumpster her any day of the week.
Ong.
Whatever.
No, but this news is a bit of a double-edged sword because on August 14th, we're going to see like two types of tweets. One, which is... wow, Korra, it's actually not that bad.
And then the other people are like...
I was really disappointed by Korra.
Rewatching Korra just solidifies my earlier opinion that it sucks.
Yeah, no, we're going to see those two things, and they're both going to be very annoying. And, I don't know.
Korra rocks. Go watch it.
Korra rocks. Can't get into it. I really want to. But we got to move on.
Yeah.
Korra, The Legend of Korra, is coming to Netflix on August 14th.
Okay. Yeah, we just said that.
Oh, we just said that. What are we, in some kind of time loop?
What?
Because Palm Springs, the Groundhog Day-esque movie from Hulu, set streaming record with biggest opening weekend. You like what I did there?
Yeah, okay.
Because it's a time loop.
Yeah, I get it.
Okay. It's a romantic comedy, which is Andy Samberg starring in it. And I've seen a lot of ads for this movie, and it actually looks really charming. Like, it actually looks...
I've heard it's quite good.
Very, very sweet and funny. Because that's the thing that I kind of like about it. Sometimes, a lot of times when you watch comedy movies, they can end up being cynical. You can get a lot of cynical comedy, a lot of harsh, like, critical comedy. But this one looks very lighthearted, In one of the advertisements, he's like, oh, this is going to get better as soon as you realize that none of it matters, Like, you're going to enjoy yourself. And I don't know, I think it was just very good looking. I'm really interested. I didn't have time this week to watch it, but I will. Maybe not this, between next episode, but I will eventually watch this. Because it does interest me. And J.K. Simmons is in it, too. So that's cool.
I love him.
But, yeah. It's... I'm all about it. I know you like time shenanigan stuff.
I do.
So I don't know if that's something you'd be into.
We'll find out. I'll definitely see it, though.
Now, the reason I asked you about if you had played Uncharted 4 yet is because finally... Well, not even finally... But the Uncharted movie, starring Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg, right?
I don't know. I know Tom Holland is in it.
I think it's Mark Wahlberg. It was either him or Matt Damon, but Matt Damon, that doesn't make sense to me. It must be Mark Wahlberg. But I always mix them up.
Right.
The Uncharted movie will be filming soon. We thought it had already started filming, but then they came out and clarified, no, it's still happening soon. But soon, after the 7 directors they went through trying to find for this film. It started with Seth Gordon, then went to Neil Berger, then David O. Russell, Sean Levy, Dan Trachtenberg, and Travis Knight. And now it's going to be Ruben Fleischer of Zombieland and Venom fame.
Well, it'll be interesting.
I'm glad. It's always a good sign when the director changes 7 times.
Right.
You know?
That's always the best.
Like Shawshank, I think that director changed 48 times before Frank Darabont landed it. You know, and think about that. That's a fantastic movie.
It's great.
And it's definitely true what I just said. But Ruben Fleischer, not a bad ending point, certainly.
I like Zombieland. Venom, not so much, but
I am
like
a Venom
Zombieland.
stan.
Are you?
A little bit. I find myself coming to the defense of it more than I am criticizing it.
I don't really remember much of it, to be honest.
Well,
I remember what everybody remembers, the Lady Venom.
Oh, yeah. Well,
how could you forget?
Well, because I was more focused on the bromance throughout, you know?
The bromance.
Because confirmed that it is an LGBT movie.
Oh.
We got a tweet coming. Because somebody tweeted, I forget who, it must have been the director, Ruben Fleischer, but it might not have been. But somebody tweeted to somebody who was a spokesperson of some kind. They're like, hey, what happens if Eddie Brock's wearing the Venom suit and he gets a boner? And they said, don't worry, the Venom suit will take care of it.
Oh.
That was like the exact wording. I don't know if it's exact, but they said the suit will take care of it for him. So, you know, if it's going to take care of it, there's only one way to take care of something like that.
Yeah.
And I stand.
Sure.
I stand that relationship. And that tongue, a lot of things you could do.
Moving on.
Back to the Uncharted movie, actually.
Okay.
Because I just wanted to say, so you haven't played the game, so I guess you don't have anything to say. But I think the Mark Wahlberg Sully casting is probably like the worst thing I've ever heard in my life.
Oh, really?
Well, here's the thing. Again, it's going to be a young Nathan Drake because Tom Holland is 24 years old.
Yeah,
right?
very,
and he
very
looks like
old.
he's like 15 or whatever.
Yes.
Well, no, he looks like he's 24, I guess, but he has a baby face.
Yeah.
Because his body is like super ripped, so you know that's obviously not like a 12-year-old. But Nathan Drake, I think in the first game is like 30, in Uncharted 1.
Oh,
You know, and Uncharted 4, he's like pushing 50.
so is this like before the first game?
Well, here's the thing: Uncharted 4 starts with Nathan Drake as a little kid when he first meets Sully. That's how Uncharted 4 starts.
Oh,
So I think playing that and looking at that could maybe be kind of what you expect. He is like a child in that one. I expect he'll be, you know, in adventuring mode by the time of the first movie, of course. But I think at least Sully in that version is kind of what we can expect from Mark Wahlberg, and I don't really see it. You
I
know,
don't know if Mark. I don't know.
Marky Mark. You know, I don't know if he's cut out for it, but I'm willing to be surprised. You know,
Sure.
I'm up for it. But apparently Antonio Banderas might be showing up, and I like him.
He's good, yeah. Interesting.
This next piece of news will mean nothing to you, but it means the world to me.
Okay.
A few days ago, there was a tweet that I saw from an account called XPlay. And it said something along the lines of, we never stopped playing. And it had a little trailer. And apparently, G4 TV is coming back next year as a web series, complete with XPlay and Attack of the Show returning. Those 2 shows back in the day. Now, you don't even know what any of this means.
Nope.
Well, you weren't a gamer when you were younger, were you?
What do you mean?
Well, were you? You weren't really.
Kinda.
Well, yeah, but you
Not
were like
as-
like
not-
a what do you call it? Like a FPS kid.
No, not when I was younger. I was a racing game person.
Oh, really? I feel like most of the time I remember it was like, oh, I'm playing Halo Reach, and that was you
Well,
for like
I played.
years.
I did play a lot of Halo Reach.
Yeah,
Yeah, but yeah,
that would have been later in this life cycle, anyways. Because I think Attack XPlay and Attack of the Show were like from like 1999 to like 2012 or something like that. Was like how long they ran.
okay.
So you know, mostly like PS2 era kind of stuff. You know, a lot of that.
Okay.
I loved XPlay. Attack of the Show, I caught it when it was on. You know, I wasn't as big of a fan, but I loved XPlay. The show was literally just a gaming review show. So they'd be like, hey, here's this new game. It's called Fable.
Fable, never heard of it.
Really?
No, it was a joke.
Oh, I think there's a new Fable too.
Yes, it was just revealed like 2 days ago.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking about that. Anyway, they're like, there's this game Fable. You can pet a dog. 4 out of 5 stars, But,
Right.
they'd actually go in depth, and it was helpful to me to, like, decide I'm a kid. I don't have income to decide what I'm going to ask for on my birthday or whatever.
Right.
I'm definitely going to pick what they give a 4 out of 5 because they would say it like that every single time.
Oh.
Very funny show. A lot of skits. Drunk Link was a great one.
Sounds funny.
It was pretty funny. Again, juvenile, but, it was the 2000s. Everything was a little bit raunchy back then. Morgan Webb and Adam Sessler, they were, like, the hosts for, like, most of it, I'm pretty sure. They were fantastic. I was totally into them, Morgan Webb especially. I remember she always got guff because she was a very pretty she is a very pretty lady. She's not dead, and she's not ugly. They'd be like, oh, Morgan Webb doesn't actually play video games. Like, all the gamers in their headsets and basements playing World of Warcraft. She was like, Morgan Webb, she's a woman. She doesn't know what Halo is. She can't blah, blah, blah. And I just remember that being a big point of contention back in the day. Because, of course, the people who are really into the games back then, because games weren't as mainstream, as they are today, being like, oh, she's pretty? No way she knows what a Game Boy is.
Right.
I thought stuff like that was hilarious. So it's exciting in a when you first see it kind of way, but I don't think they're coming back. It's probably going to be completely new people. It's going to be a web series, so it's a different vibe, of course, because it wouldn't survive on TV anymore. Still exciting. I'm totally into the idea to bring back a comedy review base kind of thing, with like actual production value and stuff, as opposed to something you might see on like YouTube, which might not have as high of a production value. And having a whole crew behind it instead of a one person, I'm into it, and I'm eager to see where they go with it. Last thing here is kind of movie related, is that the Studio Ghibli theme park now aims for fall 2022 opening with 5 Miyazaki worlds. Your thoughts?
Where?
Japan.
Oh, that's no fun.
I can only imagine.
Is it its own theme park, or is it going to be like at
the amusement
something?
park was first announced back in 2017, and a report from the Japan Times in 2018 said it was going to be in 2020, and then it was delays to 2022. And Ghibli president Kiyofumi Nakajima is reported to be attending a July 20th groundbreaking event as construction continues. So it's going to be near Nagoya, where Japan hosted the 2005 World's Fair, the Aichi Expo Commemorative Park. So there you go. That's the exact location.
Oh.
And yeah, it's going to be
that sounds
Miyazaki.
cool.
Yeah, it is cool.
What are the worlds they're doing?
The Hill of Youth, Whisper of the Heart, Howl's Moving Castle, Spirited Away, and My Neighbor Totoro.
Interesting.
I've only seen 2 of those. So, whoops. Or 3 of those, actually. So, I don't know. I'll be visiting 3 of those worlds if I ever went to Japan, which, let's be real, not anytime soon. I've got other places I want to go. Oh, wait.
No. Yeah,
No.
You read
Hold
that
on.
wrong.
I read that wrong.
There's different areas that are inspired
the Hill of Youth
by...
inspired by Whisper of the Heart and Howl's Moving Castle. So the Hill of Youth...
That's
they're
that's
like mixing
one
them.
park.
They're mixing them, kind of, yeah. So we're going to have a Princess Mononoke and Kiki's...
Delivery service.
Yeah, it seems like it's not exactly movie. It's like vibes. It's going to be different vibe worlds.
Cool.
Here's your wilderness vibe world. Here's your Spirited Away vibe world, which is interesting. Who knows? Theme parks, I can't say they're doing the hottest right now.
They're not doing great. Well, at least in America.
Who knows when they will be great again. Let's make theme parks great. Once more.
Yeah.
But you've been to, or have you, like Universal?
I have been to Universal.
So what's it like? Tell us some things.
It's fun. They have cool things to do. The Harry Potter world is literally like you get dropped into the movie. Mm-hmm. It's probably the coolest thing I've been to. I haven't been... I went like pretty early when Harry Potter World was like pretty new. So I haven't been when they did like Diagon Alley, and I haven't been since they did Pandora. But from what I saw, it was pretty cool. They had like all of, it was cool.
So how do you think this would translate from totally animated films as opposed to Harry Potter, which is real, and Pandora, which is like half real?
Right, yeah. It could be really weird, but it also could not be. I'm hoping they probably do a lot of like animatronics.
Really? Of what?
And like, I don't know. Of like
anime people?
Like the deer god.
Oh, sure, yeah. Yeah, and Yakul.
Yeah, like
I'd like to see stuff like that. Yakul's really cute.
Yeah, and they'll probably have cool like those like 3D like experience
holograms
things you have.
They could do holograms.
They could do that too, yeah.
Stuff like that. I don't know. It'll be interesting.
I'm
to
sure
see.
They have a great idea.
I'm sure they have a great idea. I'm sure there's going to be urinals dressed up as piranha plants.
Oh yeah, that'd be funny.
That's about it for the news. So now it's no longer the news. Now it's the olds. Don't look over here. You'll get spoiled. I just said don't look over here. And
well,
the first
it's
thing
your
do.
freaking screen is like asking me.
Yeah,
to
but you don't
look
have
at
to look at it. You can look at the camera. You can look at literally anywhere else.
Hey, it's hard not to.
Okay. Well.
Okay. Well, you're not allowed to look at mine either. Then
I'm not. You can trust me. Where would you like to start us off?
Number 5.
Okay. Of what?
Our favorite animated movies.
I know, but you have to remind everybody.
Oh yes, it is spotlight time, and we are talking about each of our 5 favorite animated films.
Films specifically, animated,
Yes.
any kind, 3D, 2D, does not matter.
Stop motion.
Oh yeah, anything. So start us off. Your number 5 pick.
Yes, I wanted to preface this by saying this was probably the hardest list I've ever made in my life.
It was kind of tough. I'll be real. I did a lot of weird stuff. I like thought about the movies a lot more because I thought about art style. Like I thought about it more on a level of how much did I just enjoy it, you know? I thought about like how much I enjoyed the art and then how much I enjoyed the writing and blah blah blah, like each specific thing other than like a movie overall, you know?
Yeah.
So movies with interesting art styles kind of got bumped up a little bit on my list because I thought about all the work that was put into it, you know? And how much I enjoyed the artwork and everything.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll go into my number 5, which could be a controversial pick.
Okay.
Don't know, but it's Lilo and Stitch from 2002.
Wow.
Controversial?
Maybe.
You not like Lilo and Stitch?
Well, my number 5 is Lilo and Stitch.
Oh.
So, and please stop looking at my screen.
Sorry, I didn't see any of the other ones.
My number 5 is Lilo and Stitch as well.
Okay, well then we can just talk about it together.
All right, Lilo and Stitch is pretty good.
I love Lilo and Stitch.
The biggest problem I have with Lilo and Stitch is the ending. I think the ending's really it falls really flat. Yes, compared to the rest of the movie, I think the ending is bad.
Can Stitch say goodbye?
Yeah, but not like the ending, but like the climax, you know.
What?
I think it devolves too much into the action space thing and kind of abandons some of the more themes that they develop throughout the movie, you know, and they kind of group every theme and every growth into the one action scene where it could have been more layered than that. You know, I was kind of disappointed by, again, it's a kid's movie, so I blame myself, but how simplified it was by the end when you have these very intricate relationships between two sisters with, you know, who are orphaned, you know, and stuff like that, and a alien that's orphaned as well, you know.
Right.
I just felt like at a certain point it got kind of like dumbed down, but again, kids movie.
Right. And I mean, you know, can't say it's your number 5, so you gotta love it.
Well, exactly. I still love it, but
Right.
I'm just saying compared to the rest of the movie, I think the ending is the weakest.
Okay. Yeah. I mean,
I had to say something because the rest of the
movie,
movie, I'm just gonna say I love it. Like
it's fantastic.
Pudge or whatever his name is, the little fish.
Pudge. I'm trying to think of what she says. She's like,
He controls the weather, so I have to feed him a peanut butter sandwich
like,
so my parents don't die again or something like that.
I can't give Pudge tuna. Do you know what tuna is? Fish. It's fish. I can't give Pudge fish. That's cannibalism.
Exactly. Lilo is a sweet. Well,
Great
she's not
woman.
a sweetheart. She's actually not. She's kind
She's
of
a demonic child.
Yeah, she's
Very rebellious.
I would hit her. Not if she was, only if she was my kid.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't hit her if she was just like a random kid. Of course not. But if
Right,
she was
yeah.
my daughter, she's getting the hand.
Right. I mean, yeah, she like nails the door up
I know.
while like the child services guy is coming over.
Yeah.
And she's just like laying on the ground.
She's a
listening to
monster.
Elvis. Oh man. Love the music
Yeah.
and like the opening and then Hawaiian Roller Coaster Ride, which is like all timer for me.
Yeah, it's fantastic. The trap remix of that.
Dude, it's actually fire.
actually so
The
good.
Hawaiian Roller Coaster Ride, like Enryoki remix or
Yeah, something like
that's what it's
that.
called. So good. Highly recommend the Hawaiian Roller Coaster Ride Enryoki remix. It's like 9 minutes. Check it out on YouTube.
Fire.
Great stuff. Listen to it while you're taking a shower. You'll just be freaking jamming the whole time.
You'll be riding a roller coaster ride in Hawaii,
Roller coaster,
which is a wave, I guess.
Yeah, and then Stitch almost drowns.
Oh my gosh. It's like a gremlin.
Very distressing movie too.
At times, certainly, yeah. I feel for Nani. Speaking of Nani. Nani?
Yo, Nani though, the original mommy.
Well, no, because she's not even a mom.
But okay, yeah, I guess
She's just, you know,
the original wife.
original thick. Nani is...
She is thick.
She is thick. In a good way.
Yeah,
In all the best ways.
it's like yeah. I think they did Nani, and then they were probably at least starting with The Incredibles. 'Cause The Incredibles came out a few years later. They were like, oh, dude,
Oh, yeah.
we gotta step our game up.
People
and
love
then
the
they
thick.
made Elastigirl, which
Well, that was... They were worked in conjunction, but Pixar, and then this was like actually Disney.
right, yeah, but
Yeah.
I'm sure they saw it and they
Right,
were like,
exactly.
oh, people like the thick characters. The world, they were like, well, here we go.
That's perfect. I also, since you're looking at it right there, I also always thought the poster for this movie was really weird.
Right.
Because can you explain it?
It's Stitch like chilling,
Like a villain.
but then all of the other like characters from Disney movies are just like chilling at the top, and they're
like
all looking at him like
Aladdin, Genie, Beauty and the Beast, like Pumbaa's there,
Pumbaa,
and they're all just staring. They're like, "What is this gross little
Jasmine,
thing?"
the genie.
And I remember
Yeah.
seeing that like when I was really young, and I was like, "What an interesting poster!" Like, why?
It is strange, yeah.
When I saw it, I remember thinking, I was like, "Are they in the movie?" I was like, "Is Aladdin gonna be in this movie?" It was a strange choice for like a
That's funny.
official poster, not as like a side one, but it's like that's the one.
Yeah, weird.
But yeah, also animation, of course, great with the water. The water animation was like
Right, yeah.
mesmerizing.
2002,
times.
bro.
Yeah, 2002. It's great. 2D animation, which is, I'll be real, my preferred probably. If I'm doing
It
like
depends.
2D, 3D,
Yeah,
I usually prefer 2D. I just think it's like, not to sound, I don't know, because 3D animation, I like understand usually how they do stuff. 2D animation like totally loses me sometimes when they draw certain things. I'm like, how do you draw that? Like that's just like paper and a pencil. How do
right.
you
Yeah,
do
yeah,
that?
yeah.
Not that, I mean, a lot of the 2D animation is digitalized now, but
Right.
the point still stands, I think.
Interesting. Well, okay. Number 4 time.
Yeah, should I do my number 4 then?
Yeah, probably. Since yeah, you'll do your number 4.
Well, my number 4 is The Incredibles.
I don't even.
So,
Well, listen, ladies and gentlemen, this was unplanned.
this is your number 4, actually, The Incredibles.
My number 4 is also The Incredibles.
That's pretty funny.
I doubt though.
No,
that we'll
no.
have any more overlaps after this.
Literally 100% not possible, especially my next one. There's no way.
There's no way we have any more overlaps.
But
That's so funny.
that is pretty funny that we both went to Lilo and Stitch and The Incredibles.
And I switched these around a lot too.
So did I.
I was like, I'm trying to make it.
So did I.
Well, dang. Hey, whatever.
No, that's pretty
Celebrate
funny.
greatness.
We'll talk more about maybe some more honorable mentions later then.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
The
Well,
Incredibles.
geez, where do we start with The Incredibles? One of like the all-timers.
2004.
2004.
Brad Bird,
Brad
who
Bird.
did The Iron Giant, which was also somewhere on my list. That's a good movie too. I love The Iron Giant and Ready Player One.
Yeah, so good.
The movie, what I like about it a lot is that you can watch it as a comedy and you can watch it as a drama, and it works.
Mm-hmm.
Like if somebody told you, oh, it's a comedy movie, and you watch it, you'd be like, that's a good comedy movie. If someone told you, oh, it's a drama, and you watch it, you'd be like, that's a good drama. Like, you know, it exists as both.
Yeah.
It is a comedy drama, but in the like the purest sense, it blends it so well, you know, with the exception of like Jack Jack. Jack is when it goes purely into like comedy mode. And it's probably some of my not as favorite parts of the movie.
He's not in the first one too much though.
He gets the he's not. There's like some parts where Kari, right?
Hi, this is Kari.
Gets some
Thanks
like
for sending the replacement.
him going through the washer and everything.
Right, yeah.
He gets a little crazy, and the ending, of course, and that's about it. You know, not as
Yeah,
bad
he's
as
not really
Incredibles
in it.
2.
Dude, listen.
Let's talk about Incredibles
We'll
first.
get
Yeah.
Well, I would think we'd just get Incredibles 2 out of the way in like 3 seconds.
Oh yeah, okay.
Incredibles 2 sucks. And it is a disservice to this movie. It does not take away from this movie, but The Incredibles 2 sucks. And it's terrible, and I hate it.
Now, Incredibles, the rule of the Underminer or whatever it is, the video game, the true sequel.
I haven't played that. You haven't seen The Incredibles 2.
I know I haven't.
Because I told him not to.
Exactly.
Because I saw it.
And I trusted you. Well, no, you told me not to. Then you showed me the raccoon scene, and I was like, okay, I'll skip it. Because it like it was Jack Jack Attacks in the middle of the movie. Yeah, is what it was. And I was like, there's a reason Jack Jack Attacks was a separate short film.
Math is math. That's the only good thing that came out of the movie. And Elastigirl, she's like double thick in Incredibles 2, but that doesn't matter.
Yeah, okay.
So, yeah. Okay, but now we can talk about The Incredibles. A great movie.
The great movie.
That we both very much enjoy. Great villain.
Mm-hmm.
Syndrome.
Yeah, he's buddy. He's a fantastic villain.
Fly home, buddy. I work alone.
Yeah. I think that the other strength of the movie is that it also works as like a period piece almost, you know, because it takes place in like what time period is it?
It is weird. Yeah, it's like it's got to be like the 70s or something
at
like that.
Latest.
Which is crazy because you don't really think that when you watch it.
Right. So, really? You don't think that?
I mean, at the beginning, you're like, oh, yeah, it's old. But then, like...
By the end, no, because it's, like, robots.
Yeah, they got, like, crazy stuff going on.
But I think just the tone that it sets in the beginning is really well done.
Right, yeah, especially with the beginning scene.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Yeah.
But once we get to, like... I don't know. I guess I never really thought about it being an older... Like, set in the older times.
Really?
Except for the beginning, obviously, where it's like...
a major criticism that I heard, not from you... But a major criticism I heard of the second movie was that it may as well have been present day.
Right,
The second one, it was like modern day. Like, it didn't even seem...
No, not at all.
Right, exactly.
And it takes place, like, literally right after. Like, they literally take on the Underminer in the first scene.
Mm-hmm, right. So it makes the game non-canon.
Damn.
Darn.
Unbelievable.
Tenable. Do you want to just talk about, like, some favorite bits of the movie?
Oh, geez, there's so many. I could probably honestly quote like 95% of this movie.
Really?
Oh, I've seen it so many times. All right, I'll try to pick a few favorite scenes.
Let's just start from the beginning.
You want to just reenact the movie?
Yeah, do the whole movie.
Okay. Well, it starts off with the interviews, right?
Yeah,
And he's like, how's this thing work? Hey.
No, that's not... Wait, is that how it starts?
I think that's the beginning.
Not the interview?
The interview, yeah. And
No, but the Kari interview. Or is that just the end? Wait. No, that's how Jack Jack Attacks
That's in
starts.
Jack Jack.
I've seen Jack Jack Attacks
more
than the
seen
movie
it many times
because of reasons.
And then it goes into...
I don't think so.
It shows like the montage.
I don't think so.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's how that ends.
And then he's like, oh, I got to get to the wedding. And then she's like,
okay,
I
was lying when I said do it. You don't actually have to do this.
Oh,
but your favorite bits.
The cat out of the tree. Okay. Okay. When Dash is running the chase scene with Dash and the dudes in the hover
through the water
thingies, and he starts running on the water, and he's just like doesn't even notice he's running on water, and then he notices and he just laughs and then just zips on. Yeah. Great scene. The final battle is super awesome.
Mm-hmm. The teamwork brings a tear to the eye.
It brings a tear to the eye. Elastigirl's infiltration of the facility is very good.
I would have to say that my favorite part of the movie and I don't know if the exact quote, so maybe you can help me on this part or whatever. But Violet and Dash and Helen
In the plane.
No, but that's good too. Are in the cave, right?
Oh, the cave scene.
The cave, and she sits them down and she's like, "Guys, listen. You know those shows on TV where the bad guys capture the good guys or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
That's not like this. They will kill you."
Yeah.
Like, that is like my favorite scene in the entire movie.
That's good.
I really enjoy that part because it's such a mature thing to put in a kid's movie, because she's literally explaining to kids, like, no, you'll die. Yeah. And of course they won't actually die. It is a kid's movie.
Right.
But in their reality, yes, they could just get sawed in half by these weird flying saucer blade
They try
things.
to.
They try to.
They shoot missiles at their plane.
They shoot bullets at Violet in the pond.
Yeah, they're going for it.
Right, exactly. But I thought that scene was amazingly mature, and it was not really expecting it in that. And that's something that I think I find in a lot of kids media when I watch it that I enjoy, is not treating them like babies, like bringing real themes and stuff that kids should be able to handle, not having it just be like fluff. It's something that I enjoy in animated stuff like that.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I just thought of another scene I very much enjoy. When they are going bowling, but they end up going, to seek crime or whatever.
Yeah.
And there's the fire sequence, and then they end up in the like jewelry store.
Yeah, and the cop shoots an unarmed black man.
Yeah, literally. Oh, what ahead of its time.
Yeah.
Great scene.
Well, actually, it's not ahead of its time. It's
right.
Actually
not ahead of its time. Yeah. It's just a great scene where he just like slowly reaches over and he just starts filling it up, and he's like, freeze! Yeah. And he's like, I'm thirsty. Good stuff.
Yeah. And honey, where's my super suit?
That is
Everyone knows that.
An all-timer. I mean, I could do that whole scene, but I will spare everybody.
Yeah, I really liked a lot of the stuff they did. For some reason, when I was younger, I had such a fascination. This has always been my problem. I brought it up with the other superheroes and stuff. Like when they did the little montage of all the people who died from the capes.
Yeah,
no capes. Like, I want to get to know these guys. Even though they died really stupidly.
Dyna Guy.
Like, I was like, tell me about Dyna Guy. That sounds kind of rad, I had a thing for that for some reason.
Do you remember Thunderhead?
Edna Mode is Brad Bird, the director, which is a very interesting role for him to put on. I don't know what the story is behind that. If he tried to find someone and know it could do well enough, so he did it himself. I don't know if that's what he did.
He really does, or are you lying?
No, Brad Bird is the director and Edna Mode. Why would I lie?
I don't know.
Unless I'm wrong, I
just didn't know that ever.
I'm like 99% sure that's true. Edna Mode.
Yeah. Brad Bird.
Yeah, thank you.
Wow.
I wonder if there's a story behind that, if he did it for fun or if he couldn't find someone to do it well enough, so he did it himself.
Edna Mode.
Right, exactly.
And guest.
Great character.
Love her. I don't even remember if she's in the second one, to be honest.
Oh, she's got to be.
I don't remember.
Didn't they make a short film with just Edna?
I don't know.
I guess she was also parts where it was more comedy than drama. It was like her and Jack Jack. So the two smallest characters were the sources of comedy, of strictly comedy for the film.
Right.
But yeah, when are they going to make Incredibles 3 and Jack Jack's like 40?
No Incredibles
it's like
3.
My family's
I didn't
dead.
even ask for Incredibles 2.
Well, nobody asks for anything, really.
Well, Incredibles 2 sucks. Okay, Incredibles 1, The Incredibles rocks.
Yeah, it's not called Incredibles 1. But it'd be funny if someone had the balls to do that.
Incredibles 1 is so good. I would just slap them.
No, I mean like someone releases a movie. They're like, yeah, this is the day the Earth stood still 1. This is Avatar 1.
Okay.
I think that'd be pretty funny.
That
Should we move on to number 3?
I'm ready to do it.
Why don't you go?
I guess I'll do my numero 3, which is...
Okay, wait. If this overlaps, I'll laugh.
What? Did you look?
No. I said if this overlaps, I'll laugh. So why?
You said there was no chance.
Right, but then I remembered what my number 3 pick was, and I was like, wait, that could be his number 3. So what is it?
It's Princess Mononoke.
Oh, okay. No, that's not mine.
Okay, good. My number 3 is Princess Mononoke from 2000. 1997.
Princess Mononoke was my number 6 pick. It
Good.
got bumped out.
Love Princess Mononoke. I just watched it like not even a week ago.
I watched it 3 nights ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa, maybe we watched it the same night.
Possibly.
We didn't even know. This movie rocks.
It's too long.
It's not even that long.
I still think it's too long.
It's like 2 hours and like 14 minutes.
Yeah, I think it's like 14 minutes too long.
But you gotta take credits, and so it's like 2 hours and like 8 minutes.
So it's like 4 minutes too long.
What would you cut?
I would cut a samurai's head off with my bow and arrow.
Okay. Yes. Okay. I wanted to touch on that.
Yeah.
This is a brutal movie.
Pretty brutal.
I didn't know. I've only seen Spirited Away before this.
Right. This is a
the
Studio Ghibli film, a
Yeah.
Hayao Miyazaki joint.
Yeah. And I didn't know because Spirited Away is very not. I mean, it's like kind of terrifying when the parents turn into pigs.
Yeah.
But I was like,
It's not
okay.
it's not like bloody.
Yeah. But this movie,
Well, there is
like,
blood at
he
some point,
literally like shoots an arrow at and like takes the whole samurai's head off,
Yeah.
and it's like, and he cut arms are getting chopped off and stuff.
Ashitaka.
It's not good. What's Ashitaka? That's how you say it. Yeah. Great character. I just love like the idea of, you know, it starts off he gets the curse or whatever, and then he has to go on his adventure to try to get rid of the curse, but ends up coming upon these two, the samurai and do they have a name? The other people?
Which other people?
The
Like
people that aren't
people?
the samurai.
The
yeah.
Ironworks people?
Yeah.
I just call them the Ironworks,
people. And they're just like feuding over land, and then obviously the animals and the spirits of like the forest are basically just kind of caught in the middle, but they're also in a war with them too. And he's
so the whole time, really, it just starts. He's trying to get rid of this curse, but it turns into him kind of trying to find some sort of balance between these different groups. Like that's what his quest kind of turns into.
He's kind of on like both sides of this. He sees like both sides of the story with Princess Mononoke and, you know, the wolves and the spirits and stuff, and then obviously with the Ironworks, he makes a connection with them too. And it's cool that he is just kind of like the bridge between both of them, and they both have like their polar opposite ideas, and he's like, you know, hey, we can like kind of do this and we can kind of do this. And I really like that aspect of it, and the just like the environmentalism of it and stuff, and the animation. Wow.
Yeah, it really is.
1997. I was like, I mean, it's so like smooth. I mean, I can't even imagine. And like each frame is like so detailed.
Yeah.
I mean, it had to take, I mean, like
at least 2
hours
days
to make just like one frame.
Yeah.
So I don't even want to know how long it took them to make this, but I really think this movie's pretty incredible. The first time I saw it, I will definitely be catching up with it again sometime in the future. Hopefully it holds up on rewatch. I don't know.
My favorite part
Very
of the
much
movie
enjoyed it.
is Yakul. The red elk.
Yeah.
He is the best part of that movie.
He is sweet, yeah.
I want to get like a plush or like a statue or something. I think it's so adorable.
He is cute. You don't want to get a deer god one?
No.
The deer god is terrifying.
The deer god or like the night walker or
The deer
whatever?
god. Not the
No.
night. The night walker is cuter than the deer god.
It is actually. The
Deer god has like
sucks.
it's like 5 animals at the same time.
Yeah, it's gross and it's
Very disturbing. I can see why they wanted to chop its head off.
Yeah, I want to chop its head off too, but then I have to give it back. Whatever. The thing that I could say I like about the deer god is that he is such a non-entity.
Yeah.
Like he has no stakes. He has no personality. He's just like a god.
Yeah.
you
He's
know,
just like, yeah, what's
an
up?
unfeeling, kind of like he takes and he gives. You know.
Yeah, like they take
life.
the boar to the deer god because they're like,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
need to save him or whatever, and the deer god just like, you're
Murders
dead.
him. Yeah.
You're dead.
But he cures Ashitaka.
Yeah.
So,
So, you know,
back and forth a little bit.
neutral.
Yeah, and it is a commentary on, you know, just the relationship humans have with nature and with planet Earth in general, and, you know, industrialism and stuff like that. Pretty dense themes going on for it, you know? And it really is. It's not like it's subtext. It's like, no, that's what the movie's about, you know?
Yeah.
It's just that Mother Nature just is given a voice. You know, that's the only difference that this movie has from reality, you know, is that Mother Nature can talk, you know?
Right, yeah.
So I think
And
that's
kill you.
right. Well, Mother Nature can
Well,
still kill
yeah,
you.
yeah.
it can say, I'm going to kill you.
I'm going to kill you and then like chop you in half.
Right. Or get blown up by mine.
Yeah.
Either way. The voice acting, of course I watched in Japanese. Right?
Same.
It's hard to tell, of course, in a different language, but I really liked a lot of the side characters in this one. I really liked, what was it, Gene or something? Not Gene, but Jay something. He was the fat man. I really liked his performance. I really liked Lady Eboshi's performance and stuff like that. Jigo. I liked him.
Jigo.
A lot of the side characters' performances, I found myself like, I really like the way they're just their voices in general, really, just how they sounded. And the rest of it, I don't know. It's probably great, you know.
Right. Yeah. I heard actually that the dub is like really bad.
Yeah, I have something like that coming up later too.
But yeah, I don't know.
Well, I don't want to spoil your list, but like, is this your favorite Ghibli movie you've seen so far?
Yeah. Well, I've only seen 2. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Spoilers. Spirited Away is not on my list. For number 2.
It's not on mine either.
We'll talk about it later when we do honorable mentions.
Yeah,
no need to go crazy.
Prince Mononoke, another thing I want to say is that maybe it's dumb of me, but I kind of wanted a little bit more action, because whenever there was action, I was like, this is awesome.
Oh, yeah, it's really cool.
So I was missing it. It was just the fact that nobody was there at the big battle, and I was really disappointed by that. When all the boars got blown up, we saw snippets, but I was like, I wish we got to see it from Mononoke Hime's perspective, you know, and have it happen all around her. But we didn't get that. Small critique.
Yeah.
But, you know, when it's like, this big battle, and I'm looking forward to it, and then they, you know, Game of Thrones season 1 it, or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
Dang.
Sure.
Yeah. All right. I'm good.
Okay, well, then my number 3
time
is a film that came out very recently. And maybe this is surprising to you, because it was honestly surprising to me. I did not think this would be my number 3 when I made this list, and it ended up being my number 3. And that is Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
That floated around my list for a while,
Yeah.
but I ended up deciding to take it off.
It's unfair that it's on my list. I'll tell you why.
Okay.
It got like preferential treatment because it came out at the perfect time for me. It came out right when I was absolutely sick of Marvel movies. I was so done with them, and then this movie came out, and it like saved me for like Spider-Man. You know, because I don't know if I mentioned it. I probably have. I hate Tom Holland's Spider-Man.
Yes, you've said this.
I really don't like him very much because he is Miles Morales, which is kind of a double-edged sword. Because I hate Tom Holland's Peter Parker because it's just Miles Morales. But the Miles Morales we got into the Spider-Verse is only like that because Tom Holland is Miles Morales.
Right.
Because then if they wrote him like Miles Morales, people would just be like, this is a Tom Holland ripoff. Right? Even though it's the other way around because nobody cares about Miles Morales back then. Mm-hmm. So I guess it's a good thing after all that they copied it for Tom Holland so that we could have a very interesting take for Spider-Verse. Right, yeah. I don't know if I've ever told you how much Tom Holland is Miles Morales, but like Ned's character is just Miles Morales's like roommate. Like it's Ned.
Oh.
Well, it's not Ned. I think he has a different name, but it's like a fat like Vietnamese person or something.
Interesting.
I don't know. I'm sorry.
I didn't know that.
Tom Holland, I think he's great as Spider-Man, but I just hate all the Peter Parker bits, which is a lot. So it kind of...
That's a lot, yeah, quite a bit.
Aunt May is good, though. I like their Aunt May. She's kind of a gilf.
Kind of.
Right.
What you mean?
Anyway, back to what we're actually talking about. How many times have you seen the movie? Because we saw it together in the theater, but you had already seen it.
I've seen it 3 times.
It must have been 3 times.
I've seen it a few times.
Yeah, I think I've seen it only twice.
It's very good.
Yeah, it is very good. Another thing that bumped it up on the list for me was the art, because it is
it's nothing you've ever seen before in your entire life.
And that bumped it up like a couple of spots for me because it's completely unique. Mm-hmm. There's nothing like it.
There's literally not another movie ever that looks like this.
Right. And I just think it captures a lot of the feelings of having to fill these bigger shoes. It's a great coming of age story, you know. Mm-hmm. Even if I had to criticize it, you know, the final turn maybe comes on a little quick, you know.
What's up, Danger?
It's less of a learning like the learning happens in like a montage, basically, you know, which a lot of movies do, but it still doesn't mean it's my preferred way of like handling things. But, you know, funny, action's really cool, and
Action's
especially
awesome.
when it's all the villains and all the heroes in Aunt May's house.
That's
you know,
yeah, and the chick, what's her name? The chick with the
Doc Ock?
Yeah,
Yeah, Dr. Octopus. I love that scene. That's like a great action sequence there.
yeah, it's my favorite one in the film.
Right, yeah. I mean, I also love when he's learning to swing for the first time after escaping from the lab or whatever, and he's like doing this, he's like press and release, press. I like that.
Yeah,
And that Peter Parker is honestly a great Peter Parker in that movie, you know?
yeah.
The real one, the Raimi one, I guess, is what they're kind of going for with that.
Sure, yeah.
And, you know, I think it's another movie where I kind of say it deals with some more mature themes. Like, I mean, his uncle dies,
Yeah,
you know,
right
just like Ben, Uncle Ben.
Yeah.
You know, the other Peter had to divorce Mary Jane, and Aunt May died for him, you know? And
Yeah,
of course,
that was
that stuff's
tough.
more glossed over, but still. And Gwen is great. I love Gwen. I really want to see more of her in the
Yeah,
sequel,
Gwen is the bestest.
which I think is
Are they
supposed to
gonna
come
make
out.
another one?
Yeah, it's supposed
They
to come out 21, I think.
Oh,
Maybe
good.
22 now. Who knows?
Right, yeah.
But that should have Oscar Isaac as
Oh.
well, remember at the end of I think it was Oscar Isaac. At the end of the movie, it was the other guy from the future, and he's like, I got to travel. And it's the meme, and he goes in the universe where he's like, who are you? Stop
Oh,
pointing at
yeah,
me.
and it's
Pretty sure the Spider-Man, it's like 2099 or something. It's Oscar Isaac.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I think. I might be wrong. Who knows?
Very cool.
What, do you not have any thoughts on the movie? You haven't really been saying anything.
Well, I've just been kind of agreeing with you for the most part. Yeah, I mean, it's great. I don't really know what to say. I love something that we didn't touch on. Nick Cage as it's like Spider Noir.
Yeah,
is that what it
Spider-Man
is?
Noir.
Yeah, I love all the different Spider-Mans. It's like a new take on. At least I'm not a huge into like the comics.
Right,
or
for the
anything.
movies, it's a new
So
thing.
like for the movies, it's like completely new story that's not the same as basically all the other Spider-Man movies. Like totally new with the different universes and stuff. I love all the different versions of Spider-Man, like Spider-Man Noir and Spider-Pig and
Yeah,
the
Spider-Ham.
anime girl one.
Spider-Ham.
Oh, it's not Spider-Pig.
No, Spider-Pig is The Simpsons.
What?
Spider-Pig is The Simpsons.
Okay, I'm sorry. I don't want to offend anybody.
Remember, because he's got the pig on the wall, and he's like, Spider-Pig, Spider-Pig.
Yeah. Okay.
the
Yeah.
tracks
Yeah. You're
everywhere.
right.
Simpsons movie is not on my list, sadly.
Same. Yeah, though, I mean, when I saw it the first time, I was like, I've never seen anything like this before in my entire life. It's truly a achievement, and I mean, it won Best Animated Feature rightfully.
For the sequel, I can only imagine that they'll be doing like dimension hopping. You know,
They have to, because they didn't really do much of that. It was just kind of like
they had zero of that. They had
just
the
like
flashback kind of thing.
yeah, and they would like cross over with their dimension. Or
Yeah,
whatever.
but actually, like traveling through them, it's
Yeah.
probably gonna be the deal with that one. Do you think
Gotta
we'll
be.
do a live action segment with like where are we, and it's like live action footage?
Oh, that would be funny.
I think that'd be actually really cool. Even if it was just like a cutaway, like
Right,
kind of
yeah.
gag, I think that would be hilarious.
that would be really cool. That'd be sick if they did that.
If they got like the 3 Spider Boys in there, like Andrew Garfield,
All
Tobey
3
Maguire,
of
and
them?
Tom Holland, being like,
Bro,
what?
that would be so sick.
Probably not gonna happen,
I'd
but
be
it's still
down for that.
interesting. That's all about. I gotta say,
All right, well, I
For
guess it's
number
time for
3.
my number 2.
number 2 pick.
My number 2. Listen,
Number 2.
this might be kind of out of pocket, but my number 2 is from 2002.
Wow, this is out of pocket. Especially because when we talked about this last, you had forgotten about this movie.
It's Spirit, the stallion of the Cimarron.
Exactly. Wow.
Matt
2.
Damon.
Number 2.
My number 2. This movie friggin' rules.
I think it was like my number 11 or something like that.
We got Matt Damon. We got Bryan Adams
Yeah.
on the soundtrack. Hans Zimmer.
Mm-hmm.
The trio.
Yeah.
Destined to make great movie. This is a real short movie. It's like an hour and 20 minutes.
It's like the shortest it can be.
Listen, this movie came out like the same year as Spirited Away, okay? And Spirited Away beat it at the Oscars. This movie got nominated for Best Animated Feature, if you didn't know. Went up against Spirited Away, lost, which is a crime. This movie is 10 times better than Spirited Away.
Well, 10's a lot, but
I like Spirited Away, but this movie freaking rules. It's about a horse. It's about a horse.
It's about a stallion.
Yeah. Voiced by, okay, not really voiced. The horses, okay, I wanted to touch on this. Something that I quite enjoyed about this movie, the animals do not talk.
Yes,
in this movie. Matt Damon voices like the inside head of
inner monologue.
Yeah, which is only like it's not even that often. It's like in between like every like big scene basically. Yeah. And then the other characters, the humans and stuff, do the normal talking. And it's about him. He's born and then he gets captured by
the white man.
Taken to one of their camps, and
he's getting broken in.
They're trying to break him, but he has a spirit.
Yeah,
he can't be broken. And this movie actually gets quite intense at many parts. There is like probably like 7 parts where you can definitely just break down into tears.
Sure,
I know I do at least like 2.
Yeah.
But yeah, and he's just like totally like wrecking all these dudes, throwing them all off, and all the other horses at like basically like a prison, like an internment camp for horses.
I mean, yeah, I guess. But it is like what we do or what we did. Probably still do it.
Right. Yeah. And then he's like the main white man, bad dude is like, time to the post. And you're like, oh god, what's the post? And they just tie this horse up to this freaking pole, no food, no water, for like ever. And then they capture a Native American man, Little Creek. Great, love Little Creek. We stan. He comes in, and he gets tied up to the post too. And then they make a connection, and he breaks everybody out of the prison camp. And you're like, oh, this is so great! What a great moment! They're getting out together, and then boom, captured again. This time by the Native Americans. But they treat the horses, much more nicely, more free than just being trapped in their little barns they have for the other thing. But Spirit is still like, nah, I want nobody to ride me or anything. But this is when he meets the lady.
Yeah.
Lady horse, who does not have somebody that voices her. But he's like, dang, she cute.
Mm-hmm. She can ride me.
Yeah. And then literally, bro, this is a kid's movie. Their little camp gets raided by the colonizers, and they're like murdering people, and they're like trying to run away, and Little Creek is riding the girl horse, and she literally gets shot by like the main dude. You don't see anything, but he literally like point blank shoots her, and she like falls in the river. And then there's just like terrible sequence, great sequence, but like terrible, where he's like, Spirit's trying to like get to her, and she's like basically drowning, and they make it to the end, and she's literally just laying there dying, and he can't do anything. He's a horse.
He's a horse. What's a horse supposed to do?
So he just like lays down next to her, and he's just gonna lay with her as she's dying, and you're like, wow, I'm already crying. And then the freaking white men come back up, and they take him away from her as she's dying, and you're just like a total wreck, and you're like, ah. Yeah. But she ends up being okay. But it's just a great movie. I mean, there's so much more. I don't really want to talk about all of it, but
yeah,
it has great themes of freedom with the eagle,
liberty.
He chases the eagle. But those are like the main themes that stick out. This movie also is basically about what if Western colonization never happened. Because literally Spirit puts an end in like one of the climactic scenes in the movie. They're like hauling a train up this hill so they can make the railroad to the west. And Spirit's like, nah, I don't feel it. So he like totally destroys everything, and then the train like flips down and blows up, and everything blows up, and literally one horse basically puts an end to Western colonization
for now.
Right, for the time being. But I like to think in that timeline, it just didn't happen.
It just never happened ever.
So everyone's just chilling.
And became the United States of Horse America.
The United States of Spirit.
United Horses of Aspirita.
Spirit rocks. I've seen it like 700
million
it's pretty
times.
Cool.
If you love horses, this is the movie for you.
I don't even love horses.
But here's the thing. I'd only say that because I haven't seen a lot, but I've seen a good amount of animated stuff.
Okay.
horses are kind of interesting. I don't know if you've ever paid attention to horses.
What do you mean?
A lot of people don't animate horses correctly. A lot of people animate horses like if they were dogs or like if they were cats, you know, with the way their legs move and everything. A lot of people take like shortcuts when they animate horses. I've noticed this. I've taken great note of this. But this movie takes great deal in how, you know, the difference between a gamble and like a sprint or whatever, you know, and each way that a horse will move, you know, and not just moving its legs like the way a dog would, you know, or something like that. And this movie just takes great detail in all the muscles and the way that all the limbs move. So if you care about stuff like that, you know, you can watch it and be like, oh, wow, they actually took some time to look at that.
But the best part about this movie, without a doubt, is the soundtrack from Bryan Adams and Hans Zimmer, which is just, I mean, it has some of the, I've been banging these songs since 2002 when it came out. Get Off of My Back, Can't Take Me. Those are like
the hits.
Those are the big hits.
Gotcha.
But the other ones are great. But I mean, I've been jamming those two songs. I have them in like my big playlist I have of like all my favorite songs. They're in there, bro. They come on. Turn it up, bro, because we're jamming.
Gotcha.
Do you like the soundtrack? Do you listen to it?
I don't remember it, but I'm sure it was great.
You remember? Get off of my back.
No, I mean, it was a very long time ago that I watched it last.
It's a banger. I'll make you listen to it.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. Love Spirit. I'm sure no other person would put it on their list. Well, actually, you know what's funny? On Letterboxd, it shows like how many people rate like what rating.
What, yeah.
It's like a lot in the middle and stuff, but then at the 5-star rating, it's like a whole bunch too. So there's a certain group of people like me who just stand this movie. And
well, also a lot of people only do 1 or 5.
Right, yeah. Well, you know.
Yeah.
I got my homies.
Spirit,
my homies got me.
Spirit's good. I like to think that he'd let me ride him.
Maybe. If you're a horseman.
Well, I'm only a man. And not even that, really.
Okay, well, I don't know. Spirit.
I'll have to ask Matt Damon.
Mustang.
When we have Matt Damon on, we'll ask. It's like, when you were a horse, what was that like?
What was it like?
What was were you method acting when you were a horse? Anyway, I guess we should move on to my number 2.
Hold on. Sorry, I wanted to mention this real quick. Directed by a woman. That's all I have to say.
Cool.
Well, partly by a woman.
Can we have a name?
Lorna Cook. It's the only movie I think she's ever directed. She
Really?
co-directed with Kelly Asbury, who's a man.
Okay, cool.
That's all I had to say.
My number 2 was a very tough spot to pick. Because it's from a director that I enjoy a lot, who is gone too soon, and that director is Satoshi Kon. I'm not sure how you pronounce it, actually. I love his movies. I am a big fan. You know, basically when it comes to like anime movies, it's like Ghibli, his movies. I'm like, that's it, you know, for me. But I love his stuff. So this movie is from 2006, I want to say. It's from 2006, and it is Inception. You know Nolan's Inception?
I do, yeah.
It's that movie. It's called Paprika, and I talk about it a lot because I like it a lot. It is a movie about these machines that can put you into dreams, and then you can like watch a dream from a computer, kind of like a Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind kind of deal, you know, with Mark Ruffalo. Kind of like that, where you can like watch stuff. And so it's people going into dreams, sometimes being lost in dreams, and they're trying to figure out crimes and stuff. And the movie is like trippy. You're like in dreams within dreams, and then as opposed to Inception, where everyone stays a human being, people can turn into whatever they want in this movie. They can turn into butterflies. They can turn into monkeys. They can turn into weird dolls that can rotate their heads like the Kodamas from Princess Mononoke, you know? And it is just a feast for the eyes. There's a parade in this movie that comes in a lot. Eventually the parade breaks into real life, and they're like, oh, this is a problem. The dreams are in real life now.
Oh.
And it is just every type of creature you can imagine. There's like frogs with symbols, and like there's like a Godzilla, and there's like a that Japanese arch thing that's like dancing. I don't know what those are called, but you know what I'm talking about, like the traditional Japanese arches.
Oh yeah.
And it is just crazy.
Torii gates. I think that's what they're called.
Crazy amount of confetti. Just so much stuff going on. It is. I got to see it in the theater, and it is beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. And I guess part of what I like about a lot of Satoshi Kon stuff is that it is has a lot of like meta elements, you know, because you were working with worlds within worlds, whatever stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's kind of playing with the idea of like, this is we are another layer to that whole like experience, you know? And he does that with a lot of his stuff. Like Millennium Actress is another one of his films where it's an actress talking about her movies and you're watching the movies while she's telling you about them. So 1 minute you're watching the movie, 1 minute she's talking directly to the camera being like, this is when, you know, I lost my blah, 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 stuff like that. So there's stuff like that in this film too. English dub, because I've seen this movie a few times, I decided to rewatch it in English. Surprisingly good.
Oh, nice.
It's got Yuri Lowenthal in it, which, you know, he was Spider-Man in the new Spider-Man game, and he was Sasuke in Naruto.
Sasuke!
Surprisingly good English dub. If you look up, the reason I said just like Inception, obviously because of the dream, but if you do look up Paprika Inception, you can probably just look that up and go to images, you will see like side-by-side comparisons. Like, you know, the hallway scene where like
how could I forget?
Straight from this movie.
Whoa.
Like, it is like 100%.
So you're saying Christopher Nolan's a copier?
Well,
He's
I don't
a copycat.
know. Well, here's the thing, because Darren Aronofsky, I believe, like bought the rights to Perfect Blue, at least Perfect Blue, maybe something else too, because Black Swan is basically Perfect Blue. It's actually pretty much the same film.
Whoa.
Except minus lesbians. And then he has a lot of shots that are literally shot for shot recreations and like Requiem for a Dream, you know? But he actually bought the rights. He's like, I'm ripping this off so hard that like I know it's homage. I'm buying it so I can do it, you know?
Wow.
So he's a big fan of him too. It's sad that I believe he died of Satoshi Kon died of like a heart condition, I believe. So we're not going to see anything else from him, which sucks. He only made like a handful of films, you know, and I love all of them that I've seen. But this movie is just very imaginative, really plays with the idea of a dream way more than something like Inception does, you know? You know when she like breaks the like dream wall, Ellen Page, and it's like the mirror or whatever?
Yeah,
Also straight from this.
What?
I know,
Bro,
it's crazy.
My whole life is being turned upside down right now.
But I definitely think it's a watch. It's just... It also is very pretty, but also isn't afraid to get extremely disturbing. Isn't afraid to turn from a dream to a nightmare. And, you know, where that can go when you're, like, trying to find a criminal who's very deranged. What that person would dream of. Maybe not great things.
Probably not.
But the lead female, you know, strong female character. Great. She's got, like, dual personality, Paprika in the dream. She's, like, strong, smart scientist lady in real life. Very good character. He does a lot of that stuff in his movies. He has women with multiple sides to them. I just think that's interesting. But yeah, Paprika, my number 2 of all animated films ever.
I'm gonna have to see that. Okay, well, before we do number ones,
we got to do some honorable mentions.
We got to talk about these honorable mentions. I have a whole bunch. I was just gonna kind of run through them. Just these are all like movies that literally could potentially have been on my list.
Okay.
The Lion King 1.5.
Gotcha.
I talked about this movie for like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
In one of our earlier episodes. WALL-E. Love WALL-E. One of the best Pixar movies. I have Spider-Verse on here. The whole Toy Story franchise.
Right. That
I mean,
is also
come
my
on.
honorable mentions.
Especially the third one.
Especially the first
Away.
one.
Well, the first one rocks. Yeah.
I know, but for me,
Spirited Away. Monsters Inc. I really love Monsters Inc. Very formative film for me when I was a young lad. Finding Nemo. I mean, come on. Even Finding Dory is pretty good.
Yeah.
Rango. Not a lot of people. I think people be sleeping on Rango. Rango kind of slaps. Thoughts?
I don't know if it's top 5 material.
Have you seen it in a while?
Yeah, I feel like I saw it when I was like 16, maybe.
I would recommend checking out Rango again.
Okay.
Rango slaps.
I'll take your word for
and
it.
And obviously Shrek.
Right, and Shrek 2.
Yeah, Shrek 2. Oh, man, I remember there was some sort of connection between Spirit, Stallion, and Shrek 2. I can't remember what it was.
Donkey turns into a horse.
No, I think literally let me see if this is in. If not, we'll just continue.
I can Winnie.
Yeah, dude. Look, the director Kelly Asbury, one of the directors
Okay, sure.
of Spirits.
Looks like he did Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah, but listen, he also directed Shrek 2.
Oh, perfect.
He made Spirit, and then he made Shrek 2, and then he made Romeo and Juliet, and then Smurfs, The Lost Village,
I think
and Ugly
people
Dolls.
be sleeping on Ugly Dolls, Romeo and Juliet, and the other one you said.
Are they? But I mean, Spirit and then Shrek 2, bro.
Yeah.
He was killing it for a while. That
Yeah.
was the connection.
Okay, gotcha.
That was basically all my honorables. I'm sure I forgot.
I didn't write mine down,
bunch.
but if I had to think about it, I'd probably have to say, what is it? Grave of the Fireflies was a very good movie, very sad movie. I do have some problems with that movie. I think maybe it gets a little self-indulgent at times, perhaps. Maybe that's a weird take. Maybe that's a weird thing. I watched it very late at night. I was tired. I will admit this. So maybe I was more open to like being frustrated. But I think you are supposed to be frustrated with the main character in that movie. But still, very good flick. That was also a Ghibli one, but it wasn't Miyazaki. It was somebody else. What's that one that I saw when I was it's like Heavy Metal or something. I saw it when I was like really young.
I don't know.
That wouldn't have been on my list though, but I that's just what I'm thinking of. And then a bunch of the other Ghibli films, like what are the other ones? The Cat Returns. That one was good. That was what they made immediately after Spirited Away, and it's like 100% romp. Okay, yeah. What's up?
Look at this news.
What's the news?
Kelly Asbury, director of Spirit, Stallion of the Cimarron, and Shrek 2, dies
When?
at 60. Apparently in June.
Oh, in June.
Why did I not know this?
I don't know.
Well, this is very sad.
R.I.P.
Rest in peace. Kelly Asbury made literally one of my favorite movies.
Yeah, and then another of very.
That's really
yeah.
sad. Okay,
Spirit.
sorry to interrupt, but I just saw that and I was very shocked.
Yeah, like I said, Princess Mononoke was my number 6.
Right,
So
yeah. Oh, I guess like Isle of Dogs and Fantastic
Mr. Fox was one I was thinking of. Yeah,
you know, to get a little stop motion up in here.
Nightmare Before Christmas was
Right.
a one that
Yeah,
I liked when I was
obviously,
younger.
Big one.
Oh, you know what? I would actually like to give a shout out to, because I think this movie is actually totally slept on, Paranorman.
I haven't seen Paranormal.
I know nobody
or
has.
Coraline.
I haven't seen Coraline either. I was really upset that I didn't get to watch it.
Yeah,
Paranorman.
slept on.
I love Paranorman.
About Frankenweenie.
I think it's no.
Okay.
The original, sure. The
Okay.
new one, no.
Okay.
Paranorman. I love Paranorman. Fun fact about Paranorman. I think it's like the first animated kids movie to have a gay character.
Wow.
But don't get too excited,
Okay.
because it's like a throwaway line at the end of the movie where you're like, oh, this character happened to be gay the whole time.
Oh.
Because there's like
I do
this,
be like that.
there's like this jock character that I think it's like his sister. It's like has a crush on. So the whole movie, she's like, oh, you're so strong. And he's like, bitch, get off me. And it's like, oh, he doesn't care. But at the end, he's like, this is crazy. I got to text my boyfriend about this. And she's like, what? And that's like the end of the movie. But no, that movie's very funny. It's very cute. I love the character designs of all the characters in that one. I would say check it out for a fun little romp.
Yeah. I have one more that I just remembered.
Sure.
The How to Train Your Dragon trilogy.
Oh, yeah.
It rocks. I love How to Train Your Dragon. How to Train Your Dragon 2? I'd probably throw it in the top 10.
Funny that you mentioned that. I would have to mention Tech on Concrete.
Oh,
Which
sure.
I want to say, do you know who directed How to Train Your Dragon?
No, not off the top of my head.
I want to say, I might be wrong. So if you want to fact check me, go ahead. I want to say it's Michael Arias.
The first one or all of them?
All of them, I think. I want to say it's Michael Arias because he also directed Tech on Concrete. And he also worked on what he like mostly did.
No, Dean DeBlois and Chris Sanders did How to Train Your Dragon.
Maybe he wrote it or something. He was probably maybe in there somewhere. Or he might have been for the animation, because what he really did usually was animation. He would do like he would make the tech to make animating easier. That was like what he did, you know?
Yeah.
So Tech on Concrete was his directing thing, and this movie is the animation like spectacle. It has 2D animation with 3D animation with like watercolors and everything. It does like a bunch of different styles. It's mostly hand-drawn 2D animation, but it throws in the characters. Black and white are the two main characters, like these orphans who like have superpowers, I guess.
Oh.
They can like jump really high, and it's not really super explained ever, but they're fast and they can jump high and they're pretty strong. But they're not like superhuman or anything. Well, they might be, but they're not like what you would think a superhero would be. But it's about their relationship. It's like a yin and yang kind of, they need each other to like balance each other out kind of thing. And it's not a kid's movie. There's a bit of blood. There's mature themes. There's nudity. There's penis. Good. There's animated penises, or just one, I think.
Okay.
And it's just for like a second. I was like, why even have that? But it's that like yin and yang relationship, finding the balance and finding balance within yourself as well. And I don't know. It's especially the ending, total trippy visuals. I wouldn't even know how to start making something look like that.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, where do you even start with something like that? You cannot find that movie anywhere. That is not on any streaming service.
What are you going to do?
It is impossible to find. I looked, the only place I'd already seen it. I don't know how, I forget. But the only place I could find it now is if you buy it, either a DVD like shipped to you or on like the PlayStation Store. Are like the only two places you can find it right now for whatever reason.
Okay. Well, it's time to go on to a number one.
The number one pick.
My number one
kind of
is
excited.
Undisputed for me.
Wow.
For me. I mean, when we've said we were doing animation, I was like, okay, I already know what my number one is.
Gotcha.
Because this is literally, I mean, I would put this in like my top 10 films in general.
Right. Okay.
All time.
Oh, right. Because I totally disagree with you.
This is one of my favorite movies. Up.
Yeah.
I love Up. From 2009 is when Up is from. I don't even know who directed it. Pete Docter and Bob Peterson co-directed. God, what's there not to... Well, hold on. We have an Up hater in the room.
I don't like Russell.
What? Whoa. You don't like Mailman?
Also, I think the villain is awful. I think it's one of the worst villains I've ever seen in one of their movies.
Wow. Hold on. These are... Okay.
I haven't seen the movie in a long time because I didn't like it very much. Well, I mean, I liked it.
Why
did
didn't
like
you like
it a lot.
Russell?
Well, I didn't not like him, but I found their relationship too taxing at certain points.
What do you mean?
It was too annoying at certain points. Not necessarily him, but just like their back and forth. I didn't find it as charming as everyone else. I just found it more annoying.
Okay, and what about the villain?
I just thought he was really weak. I didn't understand like his motivation, basically.
He needs to get the bird.
I understood it, but I was just like, it's stupid.
Why?
I just thought it was...
Imagine you work your whole life to do something, and you do it.
Yeah.
And then everyone's like, no, this is wrong. What you did is fake.
Yeah.
So you're like,
well, what I'm saying,
you're like,
what
wow,
I'm saying
I have
is
to prove myself.
The connection between the protagonist and the antagonist was like weak to me. Like, I think there could have been a stronger through line of their connection. I felt like there could have been a stronger connection between the two. Like, the only way they're connected is like Doug, right? Doug?
Well, he was his idol when he was a kid.
I know, and that's just not enough for me.
And the bird.
Yeah, Kevin. That's true. Kevin's cool.
Okay.
Usually I don't like characters like Kevin, but I actually like Kevin. Which is strange.
He's so cute.
Yeah, I don't know. Also, Doug isn't very funny to me either.
You don't like Doug?
No.
Wow.
But I just don't like I just don't like dogs as much. I still like the movie, but it's just a lot of little things that add up, and I'm just like, eh. But it's mostly like the villain and his dog pack, where I'm just like, anytime it's just the dogs, I'm really just like, okay.
Wow, really?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like the dog characters very much. Remember when his voice gets squeaky and he's like, hey, I'm the bad dog.
Hey, Alpha, your voice sounds funny.
Yeah, I don't know.
You don't like that?
I still like the movie.
This is probably the most adult Pixar movie. I would argue that this is the most adult.
The scene is like a masterpiece.
The scene.
Really, you have to ask me what the scene is.
Yes.
her dying and them playing together.
Oh,
and her
the
dying.
montage.
Yeah.
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 That's like all-time cinema.
Masterful, you know? It's just, maybe that's why. Maybe the movie starts so strong that when the rest of the movie is just good.
It doesn't. I would argue there's a more emotional beat later in the film.
What?
They go through their adventure.
Mm-hmm. At the ceremony, you mean?
No.
Oh.
Before that. This is before the climax of the movie, right before the climax. It's like when they have their falling out. They have their falling out, and Russell's like, I don't want my sash anymore, and he throws it. And this is after he tried to burn his house or whatever. He like throws the thing and tries to burn his house. They make it out.
Were you a Boy Scout?
Yes.
I thought so.
You think this has part to do with my connection?
It totally could.
It could. Anyway, the whole reason Carl goes on the trip is because him and Ellie never got to go on the trip, so he feels like he needs to do it because he crossed his heart. He goes and he sits because they made it to Paradise Falls, but, you know, at what cost? He grabs the adventure book and he's looking through it. It's really sweet and it's playing the music, you know, the classic music that everybody knows. And then he gets to the part where it says in the book, stuff I'm going to do. And he gets really upset because obviously she didn't get to live to see all the stuff that they're going to do when they make it to Paradise Falls. He gets upset. He starts to close the book, notices that there's something on the other side of the page. I'm starting to get very emotional right now.
Yeah, okay.
He turns the page and it's a picture of them getting married. And then the whole rest of the book is all their adventures throughout their marriage. And then she leaves him a message right at the end that says, thanks for the adventure. Now go have a new one.
Right.
And he like totally breaks down.
It's all good. That's why when it's the villain, it's like, I don't care about the villain. You know what I mean? I care so much because it's like, why does the villain even have to be there? What does he add? Why couldn't the peril just be getting there? The adventure. Why does there have to be an antagonistic? Why couldn't it just been the wildlife or something? You know, his character, whenever the bad guy's on screen, I'm just like, who cares? You know, he really gets in the way of everything to me. That's just me. I hate all this stuff with him.
I'm glad you feel strongly about this. It's good to have opinions, everybody.
Yeah.
We're having a conversation. I'm just very surprised that you very much do not like.
Well, see, because all the parts that you're telling me are like, this part's great. Tell me all the great parts with the villain.
Well, not emotionally, but the set pieces with the villain are great.
Sure, the set piece. I mean,
when he comes out the first time you meet him, he's like, oh, hey, what's going on, everybody? It's all just a misunderstanding. I'm just trying to get my bird. We got guests. And then they're having guests or whatever. And then, you know, he's like, I think he's one of the most terrifying villains of all the Pixar films.
Really?
Yeah. When he's chilling and they're having dinner and he's like, he starts to figure out that they know where the bird is and they're trying to like lead him away from it. And he's like, everyone that comes here has a great story. And he like picks up all like the helmets of the people that have like the goggles and stuff. And he's like saying, and he's just like dropping their heads on the ground, bro. And then he's like an old man and a young mailman. And he lets the head drop and they're like, oh, okay. You don't feel anything in that scene. You don't feel any sort of like, you don't feel intimidated by this old man who will do anything to get what he wants.
It must just be
to prove himself.
I think it's, no, I don't. Wow. I think it's just because it's juxtaposed with the dogs. Maybe. Because Doug was his dog. So you have this evil guy and then think about his dog. He's like, I love squirrels. And it's like, that's that guy's dog. You know, it's like, how am I supposed to be threatened by a guy who keeps that around? Well, he doesn't, but you know,
right, yeah.
I think that it could have been more successful if they had leaned into the terrifying aspect of it more, you know? Like if Doug got his throat ripped out.
Like he murders somebody?
Or
he tries to murder people.
Yeah, he does. But what if he did successfully? I mean, I think it would be really out of tone for the rest of the movie. Yeah. But maybe it would make me feel more emotion towards him. I'm really surprised that you like him so much because I thought he was extremely weak.
I think he's a great villain.
Okay.
Wow.
I just agree or disagree.
Opposing opinions here.
It must be a Boy Scout thing. I don't know.
It must be a Boy Scout thing. But yeah, that ending scene that you were talking about is also very emotional too.
Yeah,
when he puts the grape soda pin instead of the normal pin, I'm like, wow. I just bust into tears every time.
All the stuff that isn't the bad guy is fantastic.
So you do like Russell.
Okay. Like Russell is like my least favorite of the people I like, I guess.
Okay.
Maybe it's just his design or something. I don't know.
Wow. This has been a good conversation. I very much enjoy this opposing opinion. What, you don't like it?
Well, no, it's just because you did rewatch it. I wish I rewatched it so I could be like specifically this. So I'm just a little frustrated that I can't say specifically this is this, and this. I didn't like. But I feel like I'm getting my point across enough.
Yeah, I don't think this movie misses a beat. I think it's a masterpiece. My favorite animated movie ever.
I'd probably give it like an 8 or a 9.
Oh,
so.
Oh, well then, geez. I thought you were in like more like a 6 or 7 range.
No, it's at least a 7. If you rate it lower than a 7, you're stupid.
Okay. Yeah. All right. See, he knows what he's talking about. Yeah. I mean, the montage scene is like,
right.
No one has accomplished anything like that.
Again, the movie's a 10 until the bad guy's introduced.
Okay. Yeah. Fine. Yeah. We talked about it a lot. I think we're good.
Yeah, I think
everyone knows how I feel and how you feel about it.
We both love it.
Apparently, but I like it a lot more than this guy.
Right.
I'd literally put it in my top 10 all time.
I mean, it'd probably be my top 20 easily, so.
Wow. Okay, yeah.
My last one is a Ghibli movie, and I would love everyone to guess which one, because they're probably wrong. Because I watched this movie specifically within the past 2 weeks.
Hold on.
Okay.
Am I allowed to look on HBO Max?
Yeah, go look at the ones. I mean, it's not Spirited Away. It's not
Princess Mononoke.
And it's not The Cat Returns.
Okay.
So it's not those 3. I'll give you a second. I'll try to talk around it, I guess.
Yeah.
So I watched it in the last 2 weeks. Didn't know. I clicked it just because it was a Ghibli film. I didn't like specifically feel any which way about it. I wasn't expecting to love this movie, but I fell
so it blew you away.
Love with this movie. And I will have to say that it is a very flawed movie. Specifically, the ending is pretty like crazily weird. It's like just very abrupt. It is the most abrupt ending I've ever seen to a film ever. You know how in a film you have the climax and then it gets kind of like, like if you have a fight with someone, right? The climax is a fight and then they beat the bad guy and then
it just ends.
Okay. That's not what happens in the film because there's no bad guy. But the film just ends as soon as the action is like, oh no, everything's fine, end. No, wow, I'm glad everything turned. None of that. Just ends. Now, the movie does continue into the credits. There are a few scenes of like stuff kind of happening at the end. But again, it's over credits. Like the movie's over,
Okay.
Another thing, are you ready to guess or can I?
I can guess, but if you want to say your thing first.
I'll continue when you're done. I was just stalling for time, really.
Okay. I have one to like, I'm hitting a lifeline on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Okay. Speaking of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Is it?
That's not funny. Don't laugh.
Well,
Regis Philbin, sadly.
We're just going to do this now?
Well, you brought it up.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Regis Philbin tragically passed away yesterday, 88 years old.
Yeah.
He's a TV legend, obviously the host of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
He was hilarious. This is kind of off thing, but do you know the movie Little Nicky? It's an Adam Sandler movie where he plays the devil, the son of the devil. Well, there's a part in that where he's like corrupting New York or whatever. Everyone's getting evil, and Regis is on a talk show, and he's like, this guy cuts me off. So I follow him where he goes. I get the baseball bat out of my truck, and I just start bashing his brains in. It's Regis filming that, and it cuts to an old lady in the crowd going, "What's happened to you, Regis?" It's like the funniest joke in the whole movie.
That's awesome.
But yeah, he was a good sport about that and everything. Like, did you watch Who Wants to Be a Millionaire a lot? Because that's where I first found
I didn't
out
watch
about
a lot.
him.
It's gonna seem weird, but I watched a lot of live with Regis and
Kelly.
Kelly.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah,
Regis and Kelly was amazing.
Yeah, I still watch Kelly and Ryan.
Yeah.
So yeah, he left an incredible legacy. Mm-hmm. He will be missed.
Yeah.
Okay. The question was, or my lifeline, is it one of like the super duper main, like the main like 5 Ghiblis, or is it a little bit out of that?
I think
I'm gonna pick the same one no matter what. I just wanted to know.
I think it's one of the main ones. I'm not sure though.
Okay. Is it The Wind Rises?
It is not.
Damn it.
It is not The Wind Rises. So maybe it's not one of the main ones. You said it wouldn't change. It is from 1989, Kiki's
That was my second
Delivery
guess.
Service.
That was my second guess.
This is
It is one of the main ones, by the way.
Weird movie.
Yeah.
Can you read the plot of Kiki's Delivery Service for me?
It is a tradition for all young witches to leave their families on the night of a full moon and fly off into the wide world to learn their craft. When that night comes for Kiki, she embarks on her new journey with her sarcastic black cat, Gigi, landing the next morning in a seaside village where her unique skills make her an instant sensation. Don't miss this delightfully imaginative and timeless story of a young girl finding her way in the world, featuring the voices of Kirsten Dunst.
Okay, stop, yeah.
Okay.
Weird, because that's not the description that I read.
This is on HBO Max.
Oh. Well,
it's not on the IMDb one or anything.
Maybe it was the IMDb one then. Anyway, the movie starts with she's a young witch. She's 13, so she's got to go away. And she's got to land in a new town, and she's got to do witching. She's got to be independent and do an independent year of witching. That's just tradition. The description that I read was that Kiki lands in a new town, and she faces new challenges as she forgets how to fly. And that's what I read, was that she forgets how to fly.
Oh.
That doesn't happen until like the last 25 minutes of this movie.
Oh.
So this whole movie, I was waiting for the she stops learning to fly movie, part of the movie, and it didn't happen until the last part. And I was like, oh, okay. Another title for this movie could be like Kiki's Meandering Service, because the movie just kind of floats to anywhere it wants to. It's literally like, and that's what I love about it, actually.
Yeah.
It's like there is like no plot. It's just her kind of vibing the whole time.
It's just a vibe.
She's just trying to, I mean, obviously she's trying to set up her delivery service and everything, but it's like at first you don't really, there's no connection between her clients, you know? So you're spending a lot of time with these different characters who don't know each other. Their only connection to each other is through Kiki. They never really get to know anybody else. They all just stay Kiki's friend, but they don't make friends with each other, you know? So it's a lot of just like scenes that seem to be going nowhere. And they do go nowhere, kind of.
Okay.
When you think of it as an external kind of world, but internally, in Kiki, because that's
love me?
Exactly. That's what the whole movie is about. It's a coming of age, all about internally Kiki coming of age, of maturing and everything. Because she's 13, she's a child,
right?
You know, and she's independent now because she's a witch.
She's got to do it.
She's in a town where witches haven't been there in a while. You know, they're not like the norm. It's a total. Where she came from, it was like a village. This is like a city, like a Europe, like I want to say like France, you know, like a metropolitan. There's cars and buses, you know, it's vibing. I keep saying that.
Vibing. Yo, it's just a vibe, bro.
I know. Well, seriously, the aesthetic of this movie is awesome. It's your aesthetic. I love it. Gigi is great. Here's the thing I wanted to say.
Okay.
I guess I should explain the ending. Halfway through the movie, she can still fly.
Mm-hmm.
But all of a sudden, her best friend, Gigi, the black cat, which all witches have, they have a little black cat, she can't understand him anymore. All he does is meow. And she's like, what? Can you say something? And she's like, oh my gosh, Gigi can't talk anymore. Oh. And it's like, oh. But he has a girlfriend, so he fucks off. He's like, I have a girlfriend. You know, I'm just going to go fuck her brains out. That's what he says, line for line.
Okay.
And so she's trying to figure that out. And that's when she forgets how to fly. And so it's her talking to the people she had made relationships with, trying to figure out, you know, why can't I fly anymore? What's wrong with me? I can't do my job anymore because I can't fly. Yeah. So it's all this stuff building and building, and she doesn't have her special talent. She can't do anything anymore. Mm. And of course it ends with there's a blimp, and her friend is like hanging from it, about to like fall off and die. And she learns to fly again, and she saves him. So what happens at the end of this movie is he's hanging from the blimp by one hand. He's like about to fall. She flies up on the broom, catches him. They land down on the like fireman's pad thing, you know. Soon as they land, credits.
Whoa!
Immediately credits and goes "Kirashitato," you know, the song where it plays. And I was like, wow! It just ends, and then there's like scenes playing in the background where like her parents get a letter from her and they read it and they smile or whatever. And then she's just like flying around with Gigi at the end, and she's like happy, and that's all you get basically after that.
Wow.
Here's the thing. In the English dub for this movie, At the end of the movie, the cat Gigi talks again. He learns how to talk again.
Okay.
Which is like the antithesis of that's not what the film's about. Like, it ruins the movie by having, in the English dub, having the cat talk again. Because the whole point is that the cat is Kiki. It's like her childish side. It's almost like an imaginary friend, but projecting it onto this black cat.
It's like Llewyn Davis.
Yeah, kind of, yeah. But like the cat, even though in the movie's universe, the cat actually was talking to her and then it just stops talking, it's like she projected herself onto this cat. So by having the cat talk again, it's like she's not growing up. The whole point of him not talking anymore is that she's growing up. She's leaving it behind. She doesn't need Gigi as that support because she has friends. She has a community now to work with. And it's just that kind of, it's surprisingly introspective for a character who isn't introspective, really. She's not. She's a child. She doesn't do much of that, And, also very fun. The cat gets into hijinks. There's a lot of hijinks going on. There's no, except for the end, there's no, like, threat. There's no villain. There is no villain, actually. It's just an accident. At the end. There's no villain, which is kind of refreshing almost.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, nobody's trying to kill her. Awesome. Because, you watch a movie where a witch comes into a town, you think, oh, they're gonna try to burn her,
right?
Or something like that. But no, she just makes deliveries and has a good time, and at the end, she saves the day, and she grows up along the way.
Nice.
And I think it was just very touching, and I bet that's not a shared opinion that this is a very good movie. I bet a lot of people think it's fluff because it's so meandering and because there's not much of a through line. But I thought it was very impactful, and it didn't make me cry or anything. I don't think it's one of those kind of movies, but I just watched it and I had to think after the credits rolled, and I kind of sat there for a while, and I was like, wow, that was a very what would you call it, like earnest, a very true, honest kind of coming of age story, and that's what I think of it. My favorite Ghibli movie and my favorite animated movie.
Kiki, do you love me?
But yeah,
what Drake thinks about it.
It's from 1989. Highly recommend.
Nice. I'll definitely see it sometime.
Yeah,
I got a whole bunch of Ghiblis to catch up on, so yeah.
Okay. Well, that was our top 5 from both of us. We only had 2 overlap.
Yeah, luckily. Oh my goodness.
Right.
If we had more, that would have been tough.
Yeah, that would have been rough. That would have been rough indeed.
That's okay though.
That's okay though. I think it's hilarious that 5 and 4
we had exactly the same.
Exactly the same.
I know. That's awesome.
Well, that means
it's review time, right?
It's review time. That means it's review time.
My review's off the hook, I'll be honest.
Off the hook.
I think so.
Okay. Am I gonna guess?
Yeah, you can guess. It might. I can't remember if it like really gives it away.
Okay.
Yes, it literally says the name like a million times.
Well, that's fine.
All right, 1 out of 10.
Of course.
My problem with this film began with the trailers. I was very much offended by the Lilo and Stitch trailers featuring the characters from Beauty and the Beast, which is my favorite film.
Whoa.
The trailer is canonically illogical and shows a complete lack of respect on the part of the filmmakers. All the trailers with characters that came before Lilo and Stitch were meaningless. They turned Jasmine into a slut, but it didn't work because the rest of the magic carpet ride happened in Aladdin. If that was the way the movie went, it would make sense. But the cold hard fact is that it didn't. The Beauty and the Beast chandelier stayed right where it was in the real movie. These are the facts of the fiction. Tried to alter them is dishonest. In fact, trying to alter them is dishonest. In fact, it's cinematic rape.
Wow. Wow.
You cannot destroy classic cinema like Beauty and the Beast. It is immortal. They danced. I know what I saw. I think I'm forgetting something. Oh, the movie. What about it? I'd rather jump out of a plane without a parachute than see Lilo and Stitch.
Okay. This has got to be a joke.
No, dude, there's no way.
Oh, come on. That's too out there.
Cinematic rape.
That's way too out there to not be a joke. That might be like one of the worst we've read yet.
Oh, yeah. I think that tops it.
Oh, my gosh. I
know it's bad.
I'm having a tough time believing it because it's so
bad.
Oh my gosh.
I thought I really had a gem there.
Lilo and Stitch does not deserve that,
No.
but I can't get into that. Mine's kind of interesting.
Okay.
Because so far we've done user reviews. And I think this is the first time I'm going to be reading a critic who was published in the Washington Post.
Roger Ebert.
No.
Okay.
It's Stephen Hunter, Washington Post. And maybe you can guess which one it is. A gigantic Japanese animated feature, anime seems to be the term of art. The movie is as spectacular as it is dense, and as dense as it is colorful, and as colorful as it is meaningless, and as meaningless as it is long. And it's very long.
Princess Mononoke.
It's Princess Mononoke. That's exactly it. And this guy, I don't know where they get their scores for, like on IMDb, because he didn't have a score in the review, but it was a 50 out of 100.
Yikes.
Is what he gave it. And I just thought that it's super long when I just picked out that paragraph. Yeah. I thought it was a pretty funny paragraph.
It's as meaningless as it is long.
And it's very long. I mean, I do agree. I do think it's a little long.
I disagree.
But meaningless.
Just meaningless, bro. It didn't mean anything.
Like, meaningless. If you think it's meaningless, then you just must not, like, believe in...
He's probably an anti-vaxxer.
Or, like, like, flat earther and anti... like global warming, like doesn't believe in it or something like that.
Yeah.
But again, when did the movie come out? Like 90 something?
97.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, it depends.
But it's a horrible review written by an actual reviewer, like an actual
how about that
published Washington Post, reviewer.
Yeah, what are you going to do?
What are you going to do? You're going to not listen to him and you're going to go see the movie on HBO Max.
Right. Mhm.
Her mask was cool too.
Oh yeah. That was sweet.
Or she was spitting out the blood. She's like
remember that? Yeah, she yeah.
Her first appearance.
Yeah.
That was weird. Well, we have one part left of the show, and then we'll be wrapping up.
Yes,
we have
an email.
An email. Where can you send an email?
Listen, guys, if you want us to answer a question or something
about anything, you
can email us at Stagler Stagler pod pod @gmail.com and send them there. Boom. Say whatever you want.
And if we like enough, we'll read it on the air and answer your question.
Yeah.
So today's question is, hey, Justin and Nick, since you're talking about animated movies, I was curious, what style of animation do you prefer? And not just 2D, 3D, but also things like rotoscope, claymation, cell, stuff of that nature. Also, do you think adult animation has a future ahead of it? Well, especially because of difficulty shooting live action movies because of stuff. Well, let's start with what kind of animation do you prefer in general? What do you think? I kind of already answered this earlier.
You kind of touched on it. You're a big 2D guy, and I agree. I am big on 2D, but I'd say my favorite is probably claymation.
Claymation.
I'm a huge fan of the claymation.
That's got to be my second
process.
Favorite. Yeah.
The work that goes in to making a claymation and just how intricately,
or just stop motion in general,
all the, like, just making these little characters with like their little like tweezers and stuff and making sure everything is absolutely perfect. I think I just really enjoy the filmmaking aspect of claymation and stop motion, and I really enjoy the way the films look. I mean, such as like Isle of Dogs and Fantastic Mr. Fox.
I think stop motion is a very interesting type of animation, because it is a type of animation that is a great gateway drug.
Okay.
But you know what? It's such an entry point. Anybody can make a stop motion film.
Right, yeah, literally.
Like, I made a stop motion film using pipe cleaners and put them into little stick figure men and like had them fight. A stop motion film like that. And it was that easy that I could do it and, make something that was like fun and interesting to watch. Editing sound into it afterwards and stuff like that. Learning those kind of important things. I really respect it because not everybody can make a 2D animation like pencil paper doing stuff like that. I can't do it, but I can do stop motion.
Yep.
It's not easy to do it good, but it's easy to do it bad.
Right, exactly.
So I even though I prefer 2D overall, stop motion is definitely near and dear to my heart. And 3D, I mean, when you really think about it, animation at a certain point is just like can be CGI, and have these incredibly lifelike fixtures. I guess all I'm saying is all art is good.
Yeah. Go do your thing.
But to answer the question, 2D all the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, do you think adult animation has a future ahead of it? Well, a future as much as it has a present, at the very least. To say it will have an increase that lasts, who knows? You know, like
Probably
a lasting
not.
impact. Again,
I'm
I
thinking
would say
probably not.
probably not. I just don't see it having something that we're going to see it for years and years and years, more and more and more.
Yeah. But we'll still have like
Yeah,
the occasional.
it'll still be around.
Yeah.
The one thing I would like to see, which is specifically animated films towards adults, because we have a lot of animated series for adults,
Yeah.
but not a ton outside of anime, because anime does do a lot of adult films. You know, Satoshi Kon does a lot of adult stuff. Western animated films for adults are very few and far between.
Yeah.
You know, so that would be what I'd be most interested in seeing,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
But not like Sausage Party. Like the polar opposite
Oh,
of
I forgot about
Party.
Sausage Party. I gotta change my number one. Sausage Party was great, but only for the last scene. The rest of the movie, I could take it or leave it. The last scene,
Great stuff.
oh my gosh, it's better than the pool scene in Reindeer Games.
Yeah. Well, geez. Oh, okay.
Sausage, I only saw the last scene, but you watched the whole movie.
Of what?
Sausage Party.
I did see the whole movie.
Why?
It was very unfortunate.
Why did you see it?
I went and saw it. I saw it with my sister.
Oh, hot.
No, very opposite.
Okay. Why would you see? Maybe
I didn't know what it was going to be like. I thought it would just be a funny movie about a freaking hot dog.
I guess nobody knew, huh?
It's not.
I mean, it's
and
called
it ends
Sausage
up with
Party.
a freaking orgy with like a bagel and a taco and a hot dog and a bun.
Yeah, and it's like a pansexual orgy.
It is disgusting.
Well, one man's trash.
I know there's somebody out there, but
There's got to be.
bless their heart. Oh,
No. Do not
it's bad.
condemn them.
Don't watch Sausage Party. It's terrible.
But at least watch the last scene.
No.
Just to know.
Don't.
Sometimes
I mean,
you gotta know.
if you're curious, go for it.
You'll probably
Sure,
last like 2 seconds.
Sure, it's on YouTube, but
and by that I mean from watching it and wanting to turn it off, not the other kind of lasting 2 seconds.
okay.
Coming is what I was talking about.
I'm done.
Okay. Well, I think that's gonna wrap it up totally for episode 9. Next episode, we are gonna talk about. Did you forget?
Oh, I remember. I did for a second.
Okay.
We're going to be talking about our favorite. We're going to collectively choose 10 of our favorite action sequences.
Yes, collectively.
In cinema
So
history, cinema
working
and
together.
TV and TV.
yeah, any kind of action scenes, because we figure it's summer. You know, you might be missing some of those blockbusters that we might get,
You might be missing Tenet.
which got pushed back again indefinitely. So
Yeah, that's a yikes. So, we'll try to fill the void maybe a little bit with
Yeah,
some Mad
maybe
Max action.
we'll pick some up that you can kind of at home recreate that kind of summer blockbuster vibe for yourself. You know,
We'll try our best.
we'll try our best, but until then, episode 10. Oh, exciting!
Yeah, 10.
Double digits, because triple digits is a while off.
Yeah, we're getting there, though.
Episode 10. We'll see you then. Have a great day. In the words of David Lynch.
Thanks for watching.
No, in the words of David Lynch, we hope you have blue skies, golden sunshine. Have a great day, everyone.